101.9 FM. Your lifestyle, leisure, and
Good morning and welcome to News at 6 on 101.9 ZFM, your lifestyle, leisure and business radio. I am Samuela Aintree. Coming up shortly in the headlines. Doctors Association of Tamale Teaching Hospital cause of strike. Also, Chancellor of UEW appeals for peace in Boku. On the international scene, suspect charged after Vancouver car ramming leaves 11 dead. These and many more stories will be coming your way. Do stay with us. Thank you for staying with us. Now the news in detail. The Tamale Teaching Hospital has resumed full medical services following the suspension of a strike action by its doctors. Normal activities at the facility, which has been disrupted since April 23, 2025 by the industrial action, have come back to full scale after the doctors called off their strike. The decision to suspend the protest followed a meeting with the Minister of Health, Kwabena Minta-Akando. The strike follows a tense incident during an unannounced visit by the Health Minister and Tamale North MP, which reportedly resulted in a heated verbal altercation with Dr. Valentine Akupwa, head of the Accident and Emergency Unit. Let me take you through excerpt of the statement released by the Doctors Association of the Tamale Teaching Hospital. The Doctors Association of Tamale Teaching Hospital embarked on an industrial action on 23rd April 2025 following an unfortunate incident that occurred during the visit of the Minister of Health, Honorable Kwabena Minta-Akando, on 22nd April 2025. Subsequently, the Parliamentary Select Committee on Health and a delegation from the Overlord of Dagbon, His Majesty Ndan Yana Abukari II, also visited and interacted with members of DATTH regarding the ampers as well as the challenges members face in discharging their duties. In consultation with the National Executive Council of the GMA, as a sign of goodwill and in recognition of the challenges faced by patients visiting the facility, emergency services were restored from 2 p.m. on Friday, 25th April 2025. The GMA subsequently on the same day facilitated a meeting with the Minister of Health accompanied by other officials. At this meeting, the Minister of Health expressed his regret over the challenges the hospital has faced over the years and the unfortunate incident that occurred. He also emphasized his respect for members of DATTH and his commitment to work with the leadership to ensure a safe working environment, the availability of requested logistics to support our work, and continued collaboration to improve healthcare delivery. The minister also took the opportunity to speak to Dr. Valentine Akupwa and expressed his regret for the turn of event. The leadership of DATTH and GMA thanked the minister for his maturity and also his immediate action in meeting some of the equipment and logistics requested by donating a significant number of equipment and medical supplies. Following the engagement, the association at an emergency meeting held on 26th April 2025 at 11:30 resolved as follows. The DATTH calls off the suspension of services and calls on all doctors to resume all services with immediate effect at Tamale Teaching Hospital. The association will work with hospital management, the Ministry of Health and other stakeholders to ensure a safe working environment and the availability of logistics to facilitate healthcare delivery. The association will collaborate with His Majesty the King and Overlord of Dagbon, Ndan Yana Abukari II, to address the challenges faced by the hospital and its staff, including a safe working environment. The management of TTH is urged to be open and prompt with their communication of challenges faced by the hospital to the general public. The The media is urged to be circumspect and unbiased in their reportage on health-related issues. Should there be a failure to provide the necessary logistics to facilitate healthcare delivery in the short to medium term, the association will advise itself appropriately. We will continue to collaborate with other cadre of staff in the hospital to ensure continuous improvement of quality healthcare to all our clients. The general public is urged to collaborate and support us in our line of duty to deliver quality healthcare. And this was signed by the DATTH. In other news, the Chancellor of the University of Education, Winneba UEW, Nenyi Gate the 7th, has made a fervent appeal to the people of Boku and surrounding communities, calling for an immediate end to ongoing violence in the area. Speaking at the 29th congregation of UEW, Nenyi Gate the 7th said he was addressing the nation not only in his capacity as Chancellor, but also as a concerned Guinean citizen. He reiterated, "Let peace reign, let the guns go silent, let peace speak louder in Boku." The Chancellor emphasized the devastating impact of the conflict on families, children and livelihoods, warning that persistent violence was unraveling the rich cultural fabric and industrial spirit for which Boku is known. He lamented that Boku is a land rich in culture, strength and resilience. Its people have long been known for their industrial spirit, but today that spirit is being tested. Families are being torn apart, children cannot go to school, and livelihoods are crumbling under the weight of persistent violence. Nenyi Gate the 7th stressed that national development and education could not flourish while communities remain trapped in cycles of conflict. He further emphasized that a nation cannot be educated while part of it bends and must not allow this to continue. The General Manager for External Communication at the Electricity Company of Ghana, ECG, Charles Ni Ayiku, has assured customers that the company remains committed to delivering reliable and safe power despite facing challenges with some of its equipment. Speaking in a media interview on Sunday, April 27, 2025, Mr. Ni Ayiku acknowledged that not all ECG systems are currently operating at their optimal levels. He emphasized that while certain systems may be underperforming, ECG remains focused on maintaining service delivery. According to Mr. Ayiku, ECG works with equipment and some of them are not functioning as they ought to. And that is why sometimes it has to do periodic maintenance to get the systems working. He reiterated, indeed, there are some of our systems not operating in their optimal situation, but would continue to supply reliable and safe power to our customers. His comments come at a time when many customers, especially in Accra and other parts of the country, have raised concerns over an unstable power supply. In other news, the Minister of Education, Haruna Idrisu, has set up a new National Teaching Council committee to develop a fresh framework for assessing teacher qualifications. The move is aimed at placing greater emphasis on academic training and practical fieldwork rather than the current standardized licensure examinations. The Education Minister reiterated that the new teacher qualification model should integrate academic training and practical fieldwork into the curriculum of training institutions. Meanwhile, Mr. Idrisu has also raised concerns over the quality of graduates being produced by tertiary institutions. Speaking during the inauguration of a new board for the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission, he urged the board to focus on enhancing regulation and improving the quality of higher education. He reminded them that higher education remains the final preparation point for many young people entering the world of work. In finance, the Minister for Finance, Dr. Kesela Tuforsin, has held a high-level meeting with the Managing Director of the International Finance Corporation, IFC, Maktar Diop, as part of ongoing efforts to strengthen Ghana's partnership with the Global Development Finance Institution. During the meeting, Mr. Diop expressed the IFC's keen interest in focusing its investment in Ghana on targeted programs, suggesting a more strategic approach that could boost production activity and economic returns. He also noted with surprise that Ghana was not fully leveraging its diaspora, describing it as an untapped resource with immense potential for national development. Dr. Force, in response, thanked the IFC for its continued support, reaffirming Ghana's commitment to attracting private sector investment and called for deeper collaboration in infrastructure development and agriculture. In entertainment news, Ghanaian musician Michael Owusu-Addo, popularly known as Sarkodie, and his legal team have strongly denied reports suggesting he is withdrawing his lawsuit against Ecobank Ghana. In an official statement, Sarkodie's lawyers at the Robert Smith Law Group described the claims as baseless, malicious, and an attack on their client's integrity. They warned media houses against spreading unverified reports, stressing that such actions could attract legal consequences. The legal battle stems from allegations that Ecobank featured a Sarkodie look-alike in a promotional campaign without his consent. The rapper is seeking general damages for the alleged infringement, a permanent injunction against Ecobank's use of his image, and the removal of all related advertisement across digital and print platforms. The campaign, titled #IsGivenScam, sparked backlash on social media, with many questioning Ecobank's judgment. Meanwhile, Sarkodie's lawyers have reiterated that they have not received any instructions to withdraw the lawsuit, and they have not approached Ecobank with any request to do so. They stress that the case is still pending before the court, and they are yet to be served with the bank's official response. On the international scene, a 30-year-old man has been charged with 8 counts of second-degree murder after a car was driven into a crowd at a street festival in Vancouver, Canada. The attack at a festival which celebrated Filipino culture left 11 dead and dozens more injured. Work to identify some victims was continuing on Sunday evening, and police said the suspect, Kaiji Adam Lo, a resident of the city, was likely to be charged with further murders. Investigations said the suspect was known to police prior to the attack, but ruled out an extremist motive, instead pointing to his history of mental health problems. Organizers of the annual Lapu Lapu festival said the city's tight-knit Filipino community was grieving and that the attack's impact will be felt for years to come. Earlier, police said the ages of the victims ranged from 5 to 65. Their identities have not been disclosed. The attack took place at around 8:14 local time on Saturday at East 43rd Avenue and Fraser in the south of Vancouver. Several eyewitnesses to Saturday's attack have described the moment a car plowed into crowds and the chaos that followed. Ending news at 6. Before we go, let's take a recap of our headlines. Our top stories for today. Doctors Association of Tamale Teaching Hospital has called off strike. Also, Chancellor of UEW appeals for peace in Boku. On the international scene, suspect charged after Vancouver car ramming leaves 11 dead. And this was brought to you for News at 6 on 101.9 ZFM. You can visit www.zmultimedia.com for more news. I am Samuela Aintree. Thanks for listening. Up next is the Business Breakfast on Zed. Stay tuned.
You're tuned in to Zed 101.9 FM, your lifestyle, leisure, and business radio.
In the heart of Accra, nestled in the vibrant neighborhood of East Legon and New Beacon, a 360 multimedia firm has emerged. Introducing Zed Multimedia. With a steadfast focus on lifestyle, leisure and business, we set out to bring high-value oriented programs that captivate the taste and desires of our audience. From the captivating airwaves of Zed 101.9 FM to the dynamic visuals of Zed TV and the innovative realms of Zed Digital and the incubation of advanced technological knowledge at Zed Tech, every facet of modern media is meticulously curated to engage and inspire. Also, let's not forget the New Finder newspaper, now under the Zed Multimedia umbrella, delivering insightful journalism with a business focus. Join us on the journey where innovation meets inspiration, where lifestyle meets leisure, and where business thrives. Change is here. Zed Multimedia, your lifestyle, leisure, and business platform.
You're tuned in to Zed 101.9 FM, your lifestyle, leisure, and business radio.
Lost me. some clanky way in Pumela.
Yenzenjani ukuzuza ngifanelwe uthando lwakho mina ngenzenjani ukuzuza ngifanelwe uthando lwakho mina
FM, your lifestyle, leisure, and business radio. Zed 101.9 FM.
We thank thee each morning for a newborn day, where we may work the fields of new mown hay. We thank thee for the sunshine and the air that we breathe, O Lord. We thank thee. Thank thee for the rivers that run all day. Thank thee for the little birds that sing along the way. Thank thee for the trees and the deep blue sea, O Lord, we thank thee. Oh yes, we thank thee, Lord, for every flower that blooms, birds that sing, fish that swim, and the light of the moon. We thank thee every day as we kneel and pray, that we were born with eyes to see these things. Thank thee for the fields where the clover is grown. Thank thee for the pastures where cattle may roam. Thank thee for thy love so pure and free, O Lord, we thank.
Hey my friend, good morning. A brand new week is here, and I just want to remind you of something. Nothing is too hard for God. Nothing is too hard for God. Seriously, nothing at all. I know sometimes it feels like certain areas of your life are just stuck. Maybe you've been dealing with health issues that are just draining, or you're looking at your bank account wondering how you're even going to make things work for the rest of the month. Maybe business has been slow, or your career isn't moving the way you hoped. Maybe you're even feeling a little stuck emotionally. Friendships feel distant. Family situations are tense, or you just feel tired on the inside. Trust me, I get it. Life can hit hard, but you can have But you have to remember this. God is bigger than all of it. He's bigger than the doctor's report, bigger than the bills, bigger than the silence, bigger than the slow seasons. And the wild thing is, a lot can change in such a short time. A week is a lot of time for God to move. Even one day, 1 hour, or one moment. That call you've been waiting for, it can come out of nowhere. That small opportunity you thought was no big deal, it can turn into something you never imagined. That heavy situation you've been carrying, God can flip it and bring peace when you least expect it. So this week, I'm encouraging you, walk around with that in your mind. Let it show in how you speak, how you plan, how you dream, and everything else. If something tries to stress you out today, just pause and say to yourself, nah, nothing is too hard for my God. Seriously, say it out loud if you have to. Sometimes you have to remind your own heart. So don't shrink your dreams just because of how things look right now. Don't give up on that business idea, that school application, that healing you are trusting God for. God can do more in a week than we can do in years trying to figure it out on our own. So breathe, smile, and believe again. Good morning.
Lord, for every flower that blooms, birds that sing, fish that swim, and the light of the moon. We thank Thee every day as we kneel and pray that we were born with eyes to see these things. Yes, we thank Thee for the fields where the clover is grown. Thank Thee for the pastures where cattle may roam. Thank Thee for Thy love so pure and so free, O Lord. We thank Thee.
Good morning, Ghana. It's Monday, April 28, 2025. A brand new week and a brand new opportunity to chase greatness. Welcome to the Business Breakfast on Zed 101.9 FM, where ambition meets action and ideas turn into impact. I am Ni Trebi Hammond, and as always, we are live on YouTube at Zed Multimedia and on Facebook at ZFMGH. Like, follow, comment, and share. Let's grow together. This morning, we're setting the tone for a productive week with the stories you need, the trends you should watch, and the conversations that drive business forward in Ghana and beyond. It's Monday. Let's move with purpose, with strategy, and as always, for God and country.
Silence my enemies. You put a smile on my face, so oh, you have answered my prayers. You silent them, yes, you silent them. They don't know how I made it. Oh, you have answered my prayers. What's it then, yo? Why you in yo? my toes. Dance agwata on my logo. You have favored me so much. I will take off my shoes, stand on my toes. Dance agwa or any kind of dance. Come on. Silent them. They don't know how I made it. Oh, you have answered my prayers. What's it in you? Why are you in you? Oh, you many knows the woman is Sunday. What's it in you? Why are you in you?
All right, thank you very much for sticking and staying with us here on the Business Breakfast on Zed. It's a brand new day. And PSC Esther Smo bringing us to 23 minutes to the top of the hour. Let me run you through what we have for you this morning. Well, of course, we're starting with our news review segment. And then right after that, we'll get into business news. Then Lukman Evergreen Moment will come your way with Sports Flash. And right after that, we get into business brief. Then Transport Today comes your way, where we get to tell you the flight schedules and also the traffic situation in town. And then we get into market trends. And as usual, we wrap up with our roundtable discussion. And today we're having a very, very important conversation. You don't want to miss that. So let's get into our news review right away this morning here on the Business Breakfast on Zed. All right, let's get into our news review this morning. Let me just run you through a few of the headlines making waves today. Starting with the New Finder newspaper, this one says that IMF projects 4% growth rate for Ghana in 2025. Richard Niamakwe set to retire. Story is on page 5 of the New Finder newspaper. Also, showcase true African identity that is coming from Weyala. And also learn how to set personal boundaries, psychologist advises. And this one says Telecel's short notice to increase broadband price and fare. And this is coming from CUTS International. And Parliament's Health Committee recommends teaching hospital in Upper West region. And this one says MTN says core system safe after security breach. And this one says Finance Minister meets IFC MD to deepen cooperation in key sectors. These are all on the New Finder newspaper. You may want to grab a copy and have a read. Well, this one, let's go to our online portals. myjoyonline.com. This one says Ghana's IMF program on track, but future reforms will be the true test, says Mission Chief. And support for military intervention grows among Ghanaians, Afrobarometer reveals. And Asantehene to lead critical Boku peace talks resumes in Kumasi today. And respect workers or face the consequences. Minority demands Mahama reprimand health minister. And man remanded over 300,000 Ghana cedis mobile money robbery. And Baumia blaming everyone but himself for NPP's defeat, coming from Omani Boama. And Ghana will face economic challenges if it ends IMF program in 2026, coming from Professor Bokping. And also Mahama to launch a Jumara program today to tackle youth unemployment. And cedi stability against US dollar will be sustained, says the Bank of Ghana governor. Let's do City Newsroom. The top story says Asantehene resumes Boko conflict mediation today, and Mahama to launch a Jumara program also today. And government exceeds treasury bill target by 550 million Ghana cedis. And ECG committed to reliable power supply despite equipment issues, and coming from Aiku. And this one says fire destroys textile shop at La Paz market, owner hospitalized. And NPP engage in legal sophistry in CJ removal process, coming from Amaliba. And Baumia blaming everyone but themselves for NPP's defeat, Omani Boama. And this one says blaming others for NPP's defeat is not accountable. Powergrave Boachidankwa to Baumia. And Ofosu Dote urges anti-money laundering training for lawyers. And more Ghanaians endorse military intervention if elected leaders abuse power. Wow, these are a few of the stories on myjoyonline.com and also City Newsroom. Let's do some international stories. This one says suspect charged after Vancouver car ramming leaves 11 dead, and sorrow and fury amongst Vancouver's Filipinos after attack on festival. And Trump thinks Zelensky is ready to give up Crimea to Russia. And CNN, this one says Trump took the U.S. economy to the brink of crisis in just 100 days. And Trump's plan to give Ukrainian land to Russia is a capitulation, German says, as North Korea admits sending troops. Well, these are a few of the headlines. We'll get into the breakdown of each of them, or some of them, really, very soon. And I have joining me in studio Azuru Imoru Abdullah, who is a news review pundit here on the Business Breakfast on Zed, and also Michael Akpena Afolabi, also a news review pundit here, and Abel and Solowin Amodiok. These are the gentlemen that are going to help me break down the headlines this morning. Azuri, good morning. You're welcome.
Morning. How was it?
Yeah.
It was the weekend.
Yeah, it was peaceful.
Good morning to our listeners. It's good to be here again.
Yeah, great to have you.
Yes,
as always.
Yes,
thank you. Well, Michael, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Raphael. I'm doing well. Hope you are too. And good morning to our listeners, as always.
Yeah, I'm doing very well by God's grace. Abel, I hope you're doing well too.
I'm doing very well. Thank you for having me this morning, and good morning to our listeners.
Awesome. Thank you very much for making time to join me. Well, a few of the headlines this morning that I read earlier, but we'll just try and break down a few of them. And this one, the big story on the New Finance is IMF projects 4% growth rate for Ghana in 2025. And the story is on page 4. Let's try and break that down. Let me start with you, Michael, on that story.
Well, yes, the IMF program is progressing nicely from the indications that the country director Mr. Udet has given, and it looks like things are running smoothly. And all things being equal, this projection of a 4% growth in the economy by the end of 2025 is achievable. I think it's in line with the target the finance minister also set in the budget, which shows that we are in sync with regards to the progress that we want to see in our economic growth for this year.
Yeah.
So I just want to encourage the ministry and also encourage the ministry to keep, moving along with the IMF program, right? So that we do not try to engage in a premature exit like what the previous government did, which eventually led us back to them, right? We should follow the directives. We should work together with them so that we can see the program through. 4% growth amidst all the challenges that we are facing in the economy currently is good. I mean, I see it to be good, something that is good that we achieve at the end of the year.
Right.
So let's follow through it, and then definitely we'll see progress in our economy by the end of the year and even beyond.
Absolutely, and I agree with you when you say that we shouldn't exit real quick like that, because we might end up going back to them like the previous government did. Because Professor Bokping, economist at the University of Ghana, he said that Ghana will face economic challenges if it ends IMF program in 2026. And so there are a lot of things that we need to do. And I think last week we had a conversation here on our market trend segment where we talked about some of these things. Well, let me bring Azuri into the conversation. Azuri,
unfortunately, I'm not impressed about the intervention of IMF, and sometimes I wonder how long we will continue to rely on these international organizations for our own benefit. I think we need to do homegrown policy. We don't need to actually depend on IMF, because if IMF have always come up with these statistics and it doesn't help us. And if you look at the spring meeting, I think a member of the finance committee, Honorable Atayisa, actually took a very different dimension as far as the conversation of the IMF intervention is concerned. And I'm tempted to side with him because I think that most of the IMF is focusing on fiscal stability and discipline. But we are not looking at the micro interventions as far as our economy is concerned. The last time we were discussing that Ghana's economy is basically an SME dominated sector. And sometimes these macro interventions, we don't see it trickling down to the ordinary Ghanaian. So if you are telling me that there's a target growth rate of 4%, how am I going to explain that to the ordinary market woman in Makola for him or her to understand? You understand? So yes, so we need to, the statistics are good for the economic outlook, but we need to see how the intervention goes beyond the normal statistics. And for me, that is my focus. Look, IMF, whether you like it or not, anytime there's a change in government, they play along. That is how they are. So I think that we are falling into the manipulation of the IMF, which is not good. And I want to tie it down to what one of the Finder newspaper is saying about the visa restriction on, I think one of the headlines, there's a visa restriction on African countries. So we need to actually open up our borders to encourage trade among African countries so that we don't actually depend on this IMF thing. And to Professor Bogwin, I think it's a good call if we are not going to hesitate to exit the IMF program. But as to whether we have certain home intervention to be able to sustain our economy so that in the near future, even not this government, but future government, because we have gone to IMF for close to 17 times. Yes. So, and as it stands now, 18. Exactly. So, as it stands now, we are not aware whether we have a strategy as to whether we'll never go back there or not. I can tell you that if we don't put our things in place, if we don't do the necessary thing that we need to do, we'll still be going to them, and then it will be a cycle.
Right. Okay. I think Abel spoke extensively about that. Abel, you may want to add your thoughts before we move to other stories.
Oh, wow. I think so far so good. I agree with all of them. I mean, it's very important. Well, some agree that we shouldn't be looking up to those big wood institutions for the management of our economy. Others also say that we can't do away with them as far as they remain in the picture. I think that before we went to the IMF as a country, through the National Economic Dialogue, Ghana was able to put together a homegrown policy. But however, you still need some support because, in fact, one of the reasons why some of our bilateral partners and then the Paris Club came to the negotiation table when we defaulted in our debt repayments was because of the IMF. So sometimes they become very important. They are your critical partners. And until us, a country, our governments learn to be disciplined, just like the way they are disciplined when they are on the IMF program, then we'll not be able to achieve the physical discipline that we need when it comes to our governance. Without physical discipline, then you run back into problems and then go back to square one.
Right.
And it is the reason why Professor Bokpin is saying that if Ghana ends the program in 2026, then there will be challenges. Because once you are out of the IMF program, don't forget, one of the reasons why the finance ministry and, in fact, the entire government is kept on its toes is because once you miss some targets within the program, then your other partners who are looking to your discipline and commitment to that program for their continuous negotiations with you in terms of some of your debt repayment obligations and things, then they can't trust you again.
Right.
Then maybe some funding that support that you need, you won't get. And if you don't get those funding support, then what it means is that you have to come back to your domestic market, which is within local. So maybe you have to come and borrow from the bank, or you have to come and borrow from treasury bills like we are currently doing. And either you also have to raise taxes. Now, that is where it's always been a challenge. In Ghana, we don't want our taxes to be raised. Not that we are not paying enough. I have made the argument that Ghanaians are paying enough, But in other jurisdictions, if you do the comparative analysis, you see that other jurisdictions, even advanced jurisdictions, they pay more than us. But the argument can also be made that some of those places, they've seen development that is measurable to the taxes that you pay. In our case, is our development measurable, or can you equate it to the taxes that we've been paying for all these years? So the argument is really a complex issue, but for now, I want to commend the government for what it has done so far in terms of its discipline. You don't forget that before this government came into power, the previous administration had missed some of the critical benchmarks that were needed for the program to continue successfully, and it was going to be a difficult task, but immediately this government took over, they've been able to ensure that some of the benchmarks that were not done previously, government's commitment to achieving all those things have been practical and have also been very visible.
Right.
So let's see how we deal with it, and then maybe when we come out of it, then like the way the National Economic Dialogue went, let's also agree what can we do not to return there again, you see, and then we can have that a very big conversation. It's a very big conversation,
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Let's move on to other stories. I think the point is made. We have to be very careful, so that we are able to stay within the benchmarks that have been set, and also to be able to come out from this IMF program when we are really ready. Now, there's a story on myjoyonline.com. I don't know why. I personally, with my personal reasons, I don't think this story should have been put out there. But I mean, it's out there. So the story says that support for military intervention grows among Ghanaians. And that is coming from an Afrobarometer report. Now, it says that a rising number of Ghanaians are expressing support for military intervention in politics if elected leaders abuse their mandate. Of course, when it comes to abuse, I would agree. But it says that this is according to the 2024 Afrobarometer report conducted by the CDD. The survey indicates that 51% of Ghanaians believe the Ghana Armed Forces ought to assume control in circumstances, marking an 11% point increase from 40% in 2022. Conversely, opposition to military intervention or involvement appears to be waning, and the proportion of Ghanaians who feel the military should never intervene has fallen from 55% in 2022 to 47% in 2024.
Where are they getting that inspiration from? Obviously, it's within the West African sub-region, and what is happening now is about the enthusiasm of the youth and their expectation. You understand? And you look at what Ibrahim Traoré is doing, you understand, because he has taken over as a military government, and then the interventions, and people are comparing that to when there was a democratic government. Yeah. You understand? So you look at Mali, you look at Niger, you look at Burkina Faso and other places. There has been military intervention, and so far there has been stability, and people are actually enjoying. So that inspiration is coming from there. And actually, if you look at our environment, yes, there's a fertile ground for a military intervention, and we shouldn't ignore that. We have been a stable democracy. It is not all that rosy. We are a very peaceful country, but we cannot gloss over for the fact that we are a peaceful country because, look, at any point in time in any country, the military is always on standby for any intervention. And for any intervention to occur, it is the military that will actually come up with a roadmap towards a democratization process. For example, if you look at what happened, incident that happened within the last few years within our democratic journey, where there was some kind of constitutional crisis, so to say, the military was always on standby. Look at how the military actually invaded parliament during the transition period in the 2020 elections and then the 2021 transition. You understand? So these are all issues that we need to look at. And CCC has been very, very critical on some of this research that they do. And it has been very, very credible. So we don't need to actually ignore the research. We need to take it as...
I would agree to an extent. But you let me bring Abel into the conversation and then I bring Michael. Abel, let me hear your thoughts as well.
I don't know. I don't know where this thing is going. It's very misleading. You know, I've been asking myself so far that some of these conversations we've not had Burkinabes, you know, themselves directly speaking to some of these developments that are in Burkina Faso that people are talking about. You know, you see one stadium built and people say, hey, let's hail Traoré. How many stadiums have Ghana not built? You know, you see one factory built, people say, hey, let's hail Traoré. We don't even know the effects of those things. In Ghana, we had one district, one factory run for how many years? About 6 years or so. Government started some. You could see is there. Some too were done with support from private sector. I mean, government support, private sector support, and they've established some across the country. We've been having the conversation about the net effects of those industries on our economy. Non-existent. You understand me? But we are in this country, and then we pick up news bites from nowhere, from no source, no identifiable sources about some particular development that are happening in Burkina Faso, and I hear people say, let's protect Traoré, let's do what. Do people understand what democracy is? That, in fact, the expression of freedom, the expression of the freedom of our very existence, and some of the things we say cannot be said in some countries like Burkina Faso, that we wake up every morning, you can walk and move anywhere, you know, just by some few areas that which are restricted. But you can move anywhere, you can speak anyhow you want, and do whatever you want in this country without any limitation. You can aspire as far as you are in Ghana of dream of anything that you do, and nobody stops you. And people think that in a military government that will be fantastic for us. I think that it is it is very, it is, we are downplaying the gains of our democracy.
And Abel, Abel, not to cut you, even if those, I mean, this is me, even if those reportages, I mean, those news reports that we've been seeing are even something to go by, I think that is something that we've seen in military rules. Anytime the military takes over, we tend to see some development. And then when they transition...
And it's not one, it's not two.
When they transition, we see them go back into... I mean, over a period of time. I think that is just to cut some... To cut some...
They don't need to transition, Ralph. Sometimes it is the first phase of it. You understand?
Yeah.
After a while, you see that the same administration will degenerate.
We have and then people begin to...
In fact, in Ghana, we had leaders who did 12 years in power. We didn't see anything. But the tribalism and the hailing and the Christ-like what Sahara is receiving was there. But after 12 years, you're calling him and you're calling
Yeah. Right. Okay.
So I think that our general population, some people are excited a lot about certain things. We might have faced some
unfortunately, that's what the research is speaking to.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That no, I'm not criticizing the research. No, the research is research. You know that it has brought the findings. That's what I'm saying. That the general population, maybe there must become awareness creation, some education. SCC and the political parties, they must step up. And I think that it is because of the way our partisanship has grown. You know, pitting MPP, NBC. And there's been no real acknowledgement of the progress that we've made as a country 3 decades plus under this 1992 constitution experimentation that we've been on. There's been no education or sincere conversations about the development that we've chalked, the successes that we've chalked. I'm not saying there have been issues. There have been some negatives, you know.
Right.
There's some cries disaster, you know, with the way government and leadership have gone about certain things that have not inspired confidence. Regardless, we cannot have people who have enjoyed these freedoms that from 1992 want a military experiment. It is spent on the gains that we've made as a democratic nation.
The beacon of Africa in terms of democracy.
And civil society organizations must take this report seriously. It means that people are out of tune.
All right, Eva, we have to go. Right. Right. I'm saying we have to go now. Yeah, we have to go. Our time is up. Yeah, but Michael, sorry, maybe I should have made you touch on that briefly. But we have to go, Michael. So forgive me. Hopefully tomorrow we get to have longer conversations. I hope that is fine.
Well said.
All right. Thank you very much. That was Abel Ansolewin Amodio, who is a news review pundit here, and also Azuri Moro Ibrahim, who joined me in studio, and then Michael Akpena Afolabi joining me over the phone lines as well. Well, it's time for business news, and then that will be all for our news review today. We continue tomorrow. Samola Entry is ready with business news. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned to your lifestyle, leisure, and business radio.
Hello and welcome to the business news segment on Business Breakfast on Zed. Coming up shortly in the headlines, Kristalina Georgieva comments Ato Forson's leadership in Ghana's economic recovery. Also, no permit, no export. TCDA tightens rules on raw rubber, cashew and shea export. On the international scene, DeepSeek returns to South Korean market after data protection changes. I am Samuel Aintree. Let's settle for the details. The managing director of the International Monetary Fund, Kristalina Georgieva, has commended Ghana's finance minister, Dr. Kcee Ato Forson, and his team for their strong commitment to economic reforms under the fund-supported program. During a meeting, Madame Georgieva praised the leadership shown by Dr. Forson and highlighted highlighted the significant progress Ghana has made in restoring macroeconomic stability despite difficult conditions. She reaffirmed the IMF's continued support, stating that the fund remains a strong partner of Ghana. This endorsement follows the announcement that Ghana has reached a staff-level agreement with the IMF on the fourth review of its program. Once formally approved by the Executive Board, the agreement will unlock about $370 million in funding for Ghana. The Tree Crops Development Authority (TCDA) has announced that from May 2, 2025, all exporters of unprocessed rubber, cashew and shea must obtain permits before shipping these commodities out of Ghana. The directive also applies to individuals involved in trading these products. In a statement signed by the authority's CEO Andy Osei Okra, the TCDA said the move is in line with its legal mandate under the Tree Crops Authority Act 2019 and the Tree Crops Regulations 2023. The authority emphasized that Regulation 50 of LI 2471 will be activated on the effective date, making it compulsory for exporters to secure a valid permit before proceeding with shipment. Exporters are also required to show proof of payment for development levies to the TCDA before they can be issued a phytosanitary certificate by the Plant Protection and Regulatory Services Directorate. Without this proof, no certificates will be granted. The authority warned that non-compliance will constitute a breach of the law and could attract sanctions under the TCDA Act. Meanwhile, the Ghana Shea Employers Association is calling for a complete ban on the export of raw shea nuts. The association says the continued export of raw shea threatens local processors, leads to significant economic losses, and harms the environment. The group believes the introduction of a strong licensing regime could help address the challenges and promote value addition within the country. According to the latest auction results from the Bank of Ghana, while the government aimed to raise 6.14 billion cedis, total bids amounted to 7.26 billion. However, the government rejected bids worth 570 million cedis. A breakdown of the auction shows that for the 91-day bill, 5.32 billion cedis in bids were submitted, with 5.21 billion accepted. For the 182-day bill, bids totaled 1.56 billion cedis, out of which 1.29 billion were accepted. Meanwhile, the 364-day bill attracted 381 million cedis, with 192 million accepted. Interest rates remained relatively stable across all maturities. The 91-day bill saw a slight drop to 15.32%. The 182-day bill declined to 16.03%, and the 364-day bill fell to 18.37%. This continued decline in rates reflects government effort to lower borrowing costs. In the next auction, the Treasury plans to raise 6.32 billion cedis. In other news, businesses aiming to take advantage of the African Continental Free Trade Area (AfTA) have been advised to recognize that success under the agreement will not happen automatically. International trade expert and director of indirect tax and international trade practice at Anderson, South Africa, Yamani Selana, says businesses must make deliberate and strategic effort to access the benefit available under the agreement. Mr. Selana explained that businesses must actively engage with customs and tax authorities to register and prove that their products originate from within the continent. He noted that without following the proper procedures, businesses risk missing out on the incentives and advantages AfTA offers. He further stressed the importance of working with advisors who are familiar with custom and tax laws, warning that navigating the processes without expert guidance could be challenging. While AfTA aims to create a unified continental market, Mr. Selana cautioned that businesses must be mindful of the legal and regulatory differences that still exist across African countries. He said that although the agreement seeks to harmonize trade rules, each country maintains its own systems and businesses must consult local experts to successfully enter and operate in different markets. Mr. Selana also urged businesses to rely solely on theoretical knowledge or online research when exploring opportunities in new African countries. He described Africa as a diverse continent with distinct cultures, economic structures, and regulatory environment. According to him, businesses must approach each market with careful planning and an understanding of local dynamics, stressing that collaboration with local advisors is key to long-term success. On the international scene, the Chinese artificial intelligence service DeepSeek is once again available for download in South Korea after being suspended for nearly 2 months. The app had faced a ban in February due to concerns over breaches in data protection rules. South Korea's Personal Information Protection Commission had found that DeepSeek transferred user data and prompts without permission when it first launched in the country in January. However, as of April 28, 2025, the app has been reinstated on South Korea's app markets, including the Apple App Store and Google Play Store. DeepSeek has updated its privacy policy to address the concerns raised, stating that it now processes personal information in compliance with South Korea's Personal Information Protection Act. The app has also added that users can opt out of transferring their data to certain companies in China and the United States. The South Korean Data Protection Agency confirmed that the company voluntarily made changes to its app, making it available for download once again after partially reflecting the agency's recommendations. And that's all for the business news segment on Business Breakfast on Zed. But before we go, let's take a recap of our headlines. Our top stories for today: Kristalina Georgieva commends Ataforson's leadership in Ghana's economic recovery. Also, no permit, no exports. TCDA tightens rules on raw rubber, cashew and shea export. On the international scene, DeepSeek returns to South Korean app markets after data protection changes. You can visit www.zmultimedia.com for more business news. You can also follow us on all our social media platforms: ZFMGH on Instagram, Facebook and X, Z Multimedia on TikTok and YouTube. I am Samuela Aintree. Thanks for listening. Up next is Sports Flash with Lukeman Evergreen Moment. Stay tuned.
It's your lifestyle, leisure and business radio.
The stage is set for something special.
It is time to go racing.
Garnacho! Oh wow! Oh wow! The plan changed with no regard for human life. You couldn't write a script like this.
Here's Metzer. This is positive. Williams.
Kudos! The Korean joy did not last for long.
Oh my gosh, kudos.
Step back for Partey. Oh yes, Thomas Partey!
Hello, good morning. It's time for Sports Flash on Business Breakfast on Zed. My name is Lukeman Evergreen Moment, and Liverpool are champions of England once again. Manchester City are through to the final of the FA Cup for the third year running. Kumasi Asante Kotoko are back to winning ways, and in basketball, the OKC are grooving while the LA Lakers are down to the Minnesota Timberwolves after Game 4. But then we begin with results from the Ghana Premier League matches that were played over the weekend. Accra Lions handed their survival boost a huge they handed their survival hopes a huge boost with a 2-0 victory against Bechem United at the Accra Sports Stadium. And in Takwa, Mediama SC strode to a 3-0 win against Young Apostles on Saturday evening. And on Sunday, Vision FC stand league leaders BBN Gold Stars 2-0 at the Ni Eje Kreku the second part. Dreams FC traveled to Tamale to beat Karela United by 2-1. Legon Cities lost at home by a goal to 0-2 Heart of Lions, while FC Samatex brushed aside Basake Holy Stars by 3-0 in Samaboy. In the remaining games, Brekum Chelsea secured a 1-0 win against Nations FC, with Karim Zito also starting his tenure as Kumasi Asante Kotoko coach with a 1-0 win over Adriana Stars in Kumasi. Now here is the new Kumasi Asante Kotoko coach, delighted with that victory.
I'm very happy about this game. Well, that is what football is all about. The moment you go into a game and then you fail, you still have the opportunity to make amendments. So I think today, previous 3 matches, that was very poor. Today we have the opportunity to make amendments. So this will energize us to the rest of the game.
Well, Kumasi Asante Kotoko will next face Accra House of Folk at the Accra Sports Stadium this next weekend. Away from the Ghana Premier League to the African Schools Championship, Ghana's U15 girls team, the Black Damsels, etched their names in the history books on Saturday after claiming the 2025 African Schools Championship title with a 2-0 victory over Uganda at the University of Ghana Sports Stadium. Belinda Kpente and Daniela Abbas were the heroines of the game, each scoring to cap off a stellar tournament run for the young Ghanaian team. Meanwhile, their male version, which is the Ghana U15 boys team, they also ended their campaign on a high, securing a 2-1 victory over Uganda in the 3rd and 4th place game. Elsewhere, Ghana Football Association President Kurt Edwin Simeon Okreku has been duly appointed the second vice president of the Confederation of African Football. The appointment was confirmed at a historic CAF Executive Committee meeting at the Kempinski Hotel in Accra on Saturday. CAF President Patrice Motsepe has met Ghana's President John Dramani Mahama at the Flagstaff House in Accra as part of his visit to the country for key football engagements. His visit underlines CAF's renewed focus on youth empowerment through football development across Africa. To Ghanaian players abroad, Mohamed Kudus found the back of the net but couldn't prevent West Ham United from falling to Brighton in a thrilling encounter in the Premier League on Saturday. It was his 4th goal of the season in the competition. Antoine Semenyo was named the man of the match on Sunday afternoon after a stellar performance for AFC Bournemouth in their clash against Manchester United in the English Premier League. Semenyo scored the opening goal of the match in the 23rd minute after he was set up by strike partner Evan Nielsen. Unfortunately, the Black Star strikers' 9th goal of the season was not enough to give AFC Bournemouth all 3 points following a late equalizer from Rasmus Højlund. Well, he's been speaking about his campaign this season.
Just being free, injury free. Thank God for that. And just enjoying football. I feel like everyone forgets that football is a lovely sport. It brings a lot of people together, and that's how I approach it. So just loving the game. Everyone's just ready to react. I feel like we've got a point to prove. We want to obviously get into the top 8.
Well, so that is Bournemouth's ambition to make sure they finish in the top 8 of the English Premier League with the aid of striker Antoine Semenyo. Now to results from the English Premier League games that were played over the weekend. Liverpool were crowned Premier League champions in star and drew level with Manchester United on 20 titles, as Tottenham Hotspur were demolished on the day of wild celebrations and emotions at Anfield. The rest thrashed Spurs by 5-1 to win their 20th EPL title on Sunday. Now Ancelotti thanked the club, Jurgen Klopp, who is the former manager of Liverpool, for handing him a very good team before leaving.
When I arrived here, before I even arrived here, I think that is something not one manager ever did before. So that is what definitely helped me. But apart from that, he helped me even more by the team he left behind and the culture he left behind in that team. The quality the players have was, I think, obvious for everyone. But the culture of hard work, the culture of not only from the players but also from the staff members have been incredible, and that is one of the reasons why we could achieve what we've achieved this season.
So that was Liverpool manager Arne Slot speaking. The now captain Virgil van Dijk described the moment as amazing as he won his second EPL title with the Reds.
It's special and something that we don't take for granted. It's amazing. It's amazing what today was. Obviously, a lot of emotions before the game, during the whole week. But we got the job done, and we truly deserve champions of England.
Well, it is indeed a moment of celebrations for fans of Liverpool across the world. Now, in other games, Manchester United battled to a 1-1 draw at the Vitality Park against AFC Bournemouth. Now, Chelsea handed their UCL qualification a huge boost with a 1-0 win against Everton on Saturday, with Newcastle United relegating Ipswich Town after a 3-0 win at the St James's Park. There were some FA Cup matches played over the weekend, and Manchester City displayed their big game experience by brushing aside a luckless Nottingham Forest to reach a third successive FA Cup final. Pep Guardiola's side set up a Wembley showpiece against Crystal Palace, who beat Aston Villa by 3-0 in the other semi-final on Saturday. Now here is City manager congratulating Liverpool for winning the league despite reaching the final of the FA Cup.
On behalf of myself and all the club, we want to congratulate Liverpool Football Club for the Premier League victory. Well deserved, no doubt about that. Fantastic team. During 1 year, like it happened the last 4 years, they're going to retain the title, and hopefully next season we can be better to compete until the end. That this season could not be possible. So Liverpool, congratulations.
Also, congratulations to Liverpool for winning the English Premier League. Then Pep Guardiola himself will be hoping to win the FA Cup at the end of the season. And to Spain, Jules Koundé lashed in an extra time screamer as Barcelona beat Real Madrid to win the Copa del Rey in a remarkable Clásico in Seville. Now, after a 2-2 draw in 90 minutes and with penalties appearing inevitable, the Barcelona defender took possession of the ball 22 yards out and drilled a fine effort into the bottom corner. And in Italy, Scott McTominay, who has suddenly become a prolific scorer, scored twice as Napoli beat Torino to go 3 points clear at the top of Serie A with 4 games left to play. Inter Milan's 1-0 defeat by Roma earlier on Sunday presented Napoli with the chance to take control of the Scudetto race, and they took full advantage of that. Away from football to some boxing news, Daniel Dubois and Alexander Usyk will fight to become the undisputed world heavyweight champion at Wembley on July 19. Britain Dubois is the IBF champion, with Usyk holding the WBA, WBO and WBC belts. Now to the NBA, the Oklahoma City Thunder became the first side to advance from the first round of the NBA playoffs as they completed a 4-0 sweep over the Memphis Grizzlies in their best-of-7 series. The top seeds in the West will next face the Denver Nuggets or the Los Angeles Clippers, who are tied at 2-2 following a dramatic 101-99 win by the Nuggets last night. Earlier, Eastern Conference top seeds, the Cleveland Cavaliers, demolished the Miami Heat to take a 3-0 lead in their series. Again, early this morning, the Minnesota Timberwolves defeated the LA Lakers 116-113, and the Boston Celtics were also winners over the Orlando Magic 107-98. The Milwaukee Bucks also risked getting eliminated after losing to the Indiana Pacers 129-103. Now, the Pacers lead that series by 3-1. And finally, Stephen Curry scored 36 points to lift the Golden State Warriors to a 104-93 victory over the Houston Rockets, which puts the Warriors 2-1 up in their series. That will be all for sports this morning. My name is Lukman Evergreen Moment. Business Breakfast on Zed continues with me, Trevi Hammond.
Stay tuned to your lifestyle, leisure, and business radio.
Dream home. No interest for 2 years. Are you ready to step into your dream home? With Lakeside Estate's exclusive offer, you can own your own home in just 2 years with no interest repayment. This offers you affordable payments, flexible home purchase plan, quality homes, and lifestyle choice. Choose from a variety of beautiful homes in any of Lakeside Hills clusters. Your future awaits you. Imagine living in a home you love with the freedom to invest in your dreams without the burden of interest. As your CIMG Real Estate Company of the Year for the 4th time, we offer you hassle-free home acquisition. Call us today on 020-477-5040 or 020-141-8622. Don't miss out on this incredible opportunity. Call us now to learn more and schedule a tour for our available homes. T&Cs applied. Make your dream a reality. Lakeside Estate. Quality homes for all.
It's your lifestyle, leisure, and business radio.
I need everybody to clap your hands this way.
101.9 FM.
Come on.
worthy of my praise. Everybody say,
Stay tuned to your lifestyle, leisure, and business radio.
Zed 101.9 FM.
You want to hear this one? You want to hear it? Are you sure?
Zed 101.9 FM.
Business Radio.
Right, 31 after 7. This is a business breakfast on Zed 101.9 FM. Well, before you heard the Lookman Evergreen Moment with Sports Flash, and also before that, Samuela entry came your way with business news. Right about now, we get into business brief, and I get to share something very important with you. Stay tuned. right, thank you very much for sticking and staying with us here on the Business Breakfast on Zed. Well, we'll get into our business brief right about now. Now, today, today is actually the World Day for Safety and Health at Work, and it's an important moment on the international calendar. This is a day that was established by the International Labour Organization in 2003, and it's more than just a date. It's a powerful reminder that safety or that safe and healthy work environments really are not a privilege, but they are a right. And every worker in every sector, in every country deserves the assurance that they can carry out their duties without risking their lives, their health, and also their future. And so every year, the World Day for Safety and Health at Work focuses our attention on emerging trends, on new risks, new solutions, and new commitments we must make to protect working people everywhere. And this year's theme is especially very timely. The theme for this year is revolutionizing health and safety, the role of AI and digitalization at work. And because we find ourselves at a crossroad, on one side, the traditional approaches to workplace safety, which have served us well for generations. On another side, the rapid rise of artificial intelligence and digital technology, tools with the power to transform how we predict, prevent, and manage a risk. And that is what we are going to have a conversation on our roundtable this morning. Now, let me start with a reality check, really. Now, every 15 seconds, somewhere in the world, a worker dies from a work-related accident or disease. I don't know how that sounds to you, but every 15 seconds, someone doesn't come back home. And according to the International Labour Organization, that's 2.78 million deaths every year. 2.78 million deaths every year. Not to mention 374 million non-fatal injuries and illnesses. So that's not just tragic, it's very, very costly. Now, the estimated economic loss from poor occupational safety and health is nearly 4% of global GDP annually. And that is trillions of dollars gone every year. Now, trillions we could invest in innovation, into communities and livelihoods, but they go waste annually. Now, for decades, we've relied on traditional safety measures. We focus on periodic inspections. We talk about manual compliance checklists, reactive investigations after accidents, and what have you. And truthfully, these particular tools have brought us far, brought us very, very far. But as workplaces become more complex, faster, digital, decentralized, these old methods, if you ask me, are struggling to keep up. Because these days, risks are getting smarter. Don't you think our defenses should also get smarter too? That is very, very important. And that is where AI comes in, artificial intelligence. That is where it comes into the conversation. Now, I'm not talking about robots. I'm not talking about they taking over jobs or science fiction fantasies. I'm talking about AI as a powerful ally, one that can see patterns we miss, one that can hear warning signs we can't, and act faster than we ever could. Now, let's look at a few real-world examples. Now, at Siemens, frontline workers wear AI-enhanced devices that track real-time biometrics like heart rate, body temperature, and posture. And this is happening. They wear enhanced AI devices that can check the heart rate, their body temperature, even their posture when they are working. And so when the system senses some fatigue, some dehydration, and overexertion, major contributors to accidents, it sends some early alerts, allowing interventions before someone collapses or makes a costly mistake. Yeah, I know these things are not really common in Ghana here, but that is what is going on elsewhere. Now, ever since they implemented this particular system, I found out that Siemens reported a 30% drop in on-site incidents across several major projects. Or you can consider Shell. Now, in their high-risk offshore drilling environments, Shell has deployed AI algorithm that monitors machinery wear and tear 24/7. So instead of waiting for scheduled inspections or maybe some costly breakdowns, Shell's predictive maintenance system flags the problems before they escalate. And guess what? That has cut down unplanned downtime by 25%, which is saving them millions annually. And more importantly, they are avoiding the kind of catastrophic failures that endanger lives. And it's not just industry giants. There's a company called smartvid.io. It's a startup company. It's a tech startup, and they use computer vision AI to scan thousands of construction sites, photos, and videos daily. And their system can flag missing PPEs. So, for instance, if they scan the environment, they can tell if somebody is not wearing a helmet. They can tell if maybe there's the position of a scaffold is not too straight. Maybe they can spot someone's safe behavior or identify some hazardous conditions. And this is happening by the help of AI. So clients using smartvid.oi have seen a 20% reduction in recordable incidents within a year. And that is real, measurable impact on the ground. And so across various industries, we are witnessing a shift. Healthcare facilities are using AI to predict patient lifting injuries among nurses and caregivers. Manufacturing plants are using AI to automate some dangerous tasks, reducing worker exposure to harmful chemicals. And also retail giants are leveraging AI to optimize warehouse layouts, which is reducing the number of slips, the number of trips, and also the number of falls. And perhaps most excitingly is that AI is democratizing safety. All of these things are very, very important things we need to look at. And so today, we are going to have a conversation that when we get into our roundtable discussion, we get to see how maybe your industry is leveraging AI, maybe something you don't know. So whether you are an investor, whether you are a CEO, an entrepreneur, there are several ways AI can help you to be able to actually keep your workers safe, or maybe create a safe and healthy working environment. And so that is why we're having this all-important conversation. So we're bringing together some powerhouse group of thought leaders, some AI experts who are going to share their thoughts with us. And so we'll dive in how AI is currently being deployed across various industries to predict, to prevent, and also manage risk. We'll also look at what frameworks are emerging around ethical AI use in the workplace. We'll talk about some case studies and all of that. So whether you're a business leader, like I said, preparing for your company or preparing your company for the next decade, you're an investor spotting the next wave of safety, tech innovation, or a young entrepreneur looking to build a safer future, or a tech enthusiast who is hungry to understand AI's real-world impact, this conversation is for you, and you don't want to miss it. So that is all I have for you this morning. We can see that the safety of workers are at stake, and how is AI revolutionizing the space, and that is what we'll be looking at this morning. But thank you very much for sticking and staying. Thank you very much for listening to Business Brief. We get into transport today and the market trends. Right after that, we get into the roundtable discussion. So please don't go nowhere. Solomon Tetenate is ready to bring us the traffic situation and also the flight schedules today. Stay tuned. Good morning, you're welcome.
Good morning, Ni. I'm doing.
How are you doing?
Sorry. I thought you asked me how you doing.
Yeah.
I'm good. I'm
right.
good, by the way.
Right. We thank God. I'm doing very well too, by God's grace.
You look very nice.
Yeah. Thank you. I think I have to be dressing like this a bit more.
I really like.
Please, if you want to see how I'm looking, go to our YouTube. Exactly. We are streaming live at Zed Multimedia.
Well.
Yes, on YouTube at Zed Multimedia and also on Facebook at ZFMGH. You can see how I'm looking. But anyway, Solo, tell us what are the flight schedules for today, and also what is the traffic situation in town? It's Monday.
Yeah, it's Monday, and obviously you know how the town will look like. But let me start with the flight schedules.
Definitely
for today. So I'm starting with Passion Air, Accra to Kumasi. The morning flight schedules are 6:20 a.m., 8:50 a.m., and 11:20 a.m. The morning schedules for Accra to Kumasi are 6:20 a.m., 8:50 a.m., and 11:20 a.m. And then the afternoon schedules are 1:50 p.m. and 4:20 p.m. And then the evening schedule is 7:20 p.m. So that is the flight schedules for Accra to Kumasi Passion Air. So in all, we have 6 flights available for the day: 3 in the morning, 2 in the afternoon, and then 1 in the evening.
Right.
And it takes 40 minutes to get to your destination from Accra to Kumasi Passion Air. Also, Accra to Takoradi Passion Air, the morning schedule is 6:20 a.m. and then the afternoon schedule is 4:20 p.m. and there's no evening flight for Accra to Takoradi Passion Air. So the morning schedule is 6:20 a.m. and then the afternoon schedule is 4:20 p.m. It takes 50 minutes to get to your destination from Accra to Takoradi Passion Air. Accra to Sunyani Passion Air, it has only 1 flight available for the day at 9:10 a.m. And it's 1 hour flight. So if your flight takes off at 9:10 a.m. in Accra, you get to Sunyani at 10:10 a.m. So that's the flight schedules for Accra to Sunyani. Accra to Wa Passion Air, Accra to Wa, it has only 1 flight available for the day, and it's at 9:50 a.m. So there's no afternoon flight and there's no evening flight for Passion Air Accra to Wa.
Okay.
And it takes 1 hour 40 minutes to get to your destination. Accra to Tamale, Passion Air Accra to Tamale, the morning schedule is 6 a.m. and then the afternoon schedules are 12:20 p.m. and 4 p.m. The morning schedule is 6 a.m. and then the afternoon schedules are 12:20 p.m. and 4 p.m. And it takes 1 hour 20 minutes to get to your destination, Accra to Tamale Passion Air. So that's the flight schedules for Passion Air Accra to Takoradi, Accra to Kumasi, Accra to Sunyani, Accra to Wa, and then Accra to Tamale. Let's look at Africa World Airlines, how their flight schedules also looks like today. So Africa World Airlines Accra to Kumasi, the morning schedules are 6:20 a.m., 8:40 a.m. and 9:40 a.m. The morning schedules are 6:20 a.m., 8:40 a.m. and 9:40 a.m. And then the afternoon schedules are 12 p.m., 2:10 p.m., 3:10 p.m. and 4:30 p.m. 12 p.m., 2:10 p.m., 3:10 p.m. and 4:30 p.m. And then the evening schedule is 7 p.m. So we have 3 in the morning, we have 4 in the afternoon, and then we have 1 in the evening.
Right.
That's the flight schedules for Accra to Kumasi Africa World Airlines. It takes 40 minutes to get to your destination. Accra to Takoradi Africa World Airlines, Accra to Takoradi, the morning schedule is 7:10 a.m. The morning schedule is 7:10 a.m. and then the afternoon schedule is 4:30 p.m. The morning schedule is 7:10 a.m. and then the afternoon schedule is 4:30 p.m. That's Accra to Takoradi, and it's 40 minutes flight. So you should take note of that. And then Accra to Tamale, Africa World Airlines Accra to Tamale, the morning flight schedules are 6:30 a.m. and 9:30 a.m. 6:30 a.m. and 9:30 a.m. And then the afternoon schedules are 12:30 p.m. and 3:30 p.m. 12:30 p.m. and Accra to Tamale, Africa World Airlines. So that is the flight schedules for today. Let's look at the traffic situation in town. It's 7:48, and let's look at how the city looks like in terms of traffic. So currently, if you look at the Hacho Kwabenya Road, is now building up from the Total station or Total Fuel station Hacho branch all the way to the Kwabenya Senior High School is building up slowly. So if you are using that route, you should also take note of that. And also from Dome Kwabenya, or using the Dome Kwabenya Road, the Brekusu Road is building up at where DSTV Ghana is situated on the Dome Kwabenya or Dome Kwabenya Brekusu Road, where the Dome market is situated. It's a bit busy at the moment, so if you are using that route, you should also take note of that. So that's the traffic situation around that place. And also Dome Road leading to the Melcom Kesiaman is also busy, right from the K Hostel. It's busy at the moment. From where K Hostel is situated, if you are using the Domi Road leading to Melcom Kesiaman, that's the traffic situation over there at the moment. Also, Achimota Mall, where Achimota Mall is situated, is also busy at the moment. Achimota Mall, past Napo Hotels, that's where Mile 7 Park is situated, all the way to Achimota Old Station bus stop is very busy at the moment. If you are using that route, it's very, very busy at the moment. If you are coming to maybe if you are coming to Accra Mall, or if you are coming to Legon or any of it, you can use the Dome Kwabenya Brekusu Road and then come and use Atomic Road to skip or to swerve the traffic. That would be the alternative for you if you are using the Achimota Road coming to Achimota. Also from Papaya Fast Food Tesano, all the way to Genos Hotels is also busy at the moment, right? If you are using the Insawem Road, still on the Insawem Road from Papaya Fast Food Tesano, all the way to the Genos Hotels is also busy at the moment, so you should take note of that. So that's the traffic situation around that place. Let's look at the main road if you are going to Accra. So currently from Sankara all the way to Rage Runabout is also busy at the moment. So from Sankara past the Orchard Hospitality Management Service, past Zenith Bank Head Office, past MTN Ghana to Rage Runabout is busy at the moment. So if you're using that route, you should take note of that. And also if you're heading towards the National Theatre, right from Rage Runabout past EcoBank Ghana PLC Head Office to the National Theatre is also building up slowly. So that's the traffic situation over there at the moment. So I think that will be all for the traffic update. Let's look at what is trending in the aviation sector. FAA investigating British Airways Boeing 777-300ER incident. So during the weekend, one of the British Airways, their flight had a bird strike, and so it was forced to have a diversion because of the bird strike. But thank God it landed safely and there were no injuries reported. So according to the report, the flight or the aircraft was having 254 passengers in a 4-class cabin layout. So 8 in the first class, 76 in business class, and then 40 in premium economy, and then 130 in economy class as per the data provided. And also in a statement, the U.S. Federal Aviation Administration confirmed the incident, stating that they are doing investigation to know actually what. I think now you have come out to say that it's a best strike, so I don't know the kind of investigation
maybe they want to really understand it properly.
So I think that's from the British Airlines. And also KLM has announced its return to Barbados, with the Dutch airline once again offering a direct connection to the Caribbean country from October 26th. So from October 26th of this year, they are going to start a direct airline to Barbados. I think the last time they had a service to that place was 2023, which has been a long time, but they are returning to Barbados. So in a statement, they announced that starting October 26th, it will return flying between Amsterdam Schiphol Airport and Bridgetown Grantley Adams International Airport. So these are the airports they are going to operate during the winter seasonal route. So that's also coming from KLM this morning, and that's all for transport today.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Solomon Tetenate, for bringing us all of that. Well, 6 minutes to the top of the hour. This is a business breakfast on Zed with me, Nietzsche Bihamon. Pretty soon we get into market trends, but let's take a quick music break. When we return, I'll have our economists here to help me break down. Today, this weekend, really, the T-bills actually, the market experienced some oversubscription of T-bills, and that is what we'll be talking about. We get to understand what is actually fueling this and what the government needs to do going forward and to ensure that it is sustained. But please stay tuned. We'll be right back.
It's your lifestyle, leisure, and business radio. This is Business Breakfast on Zed 101.9
Kofi Menko, Sabashana Kofi War. Kofi Menko, Sabasha Kofi War. Kokana Nena Gina Ninja Nupono, Akroma Legend. Abanin Nigeria, Sinu Kofi, the new Bablo, Sama Kaya to you. Sika jaja mini baby o, you madam Fanny Siban, Nobra Pai Joula Pan, I Sukuli yo Kofi, Yakusami yo Kofi, so I did yo Kofi, Boba Kofi.
This is Business Breakfast on Zed 101.9 FM.
Betty Benny Media, Betty Kala, Betty Janka Mama Dia, Beye Koju. Kova zupa kudo, kova koma meli mejaleke, bado debi bawa, bado debi bawa. Kova zupa kudo, kova ngoni meli mejaleke, bado debi bawa, bado debi bawa. Kova zupa kudo, kova zupa kudo.
This is Business Breakfast on Zed 101.9 FM. This is Business Breakfast on Zed 101.9 FM.
Mama meme, Mama meme, Mama me, Mano Gilo, Mano Giboko Boko Nana Mai, Mano Gilo, Mano Giboko Boko Nana Mai, oh, Mano Gio, Mano Giboko Boko Nana Mai, Mano G, Mano G, Mano Gio, Mano Giboko Boko Nana Mai. Mala toklo wayero hoga kablele goto ndeka deka kwe mano tutum yeah mano bubum yeah ajabana aleke gbagba one day anyoyoga aleke gbagba usasa mabare one day anyoyoga yata mano jilo mano jiboko boko nana mai Mano G boko boko nana mai. Oh, Mano G oh, Mano G boko boko nana mai. Mano G oh, Mano G boko boko nana mai.
Eno que yito amene matehoratio ano se sendelo awodora. Eno que yito amene matehoratio ano se sendelo. Doc America de Cala, Wole Kike, I made me sit the wall, Wallo. A doc America de Cala, Wole Kike, I made me sit the wall, Wallo. Manojilo, Manojilo, Manojilo,
never returning, no. The wilderness don't scare me. Straight to the top, I'm aiming now. Now gonna make no evil forces draw me out. Move like a straight line, no go roundabout. Stand confident, tall and stout. Man a military general, them a boy scout. Me tell them, Mano Gilo, Mano Giboko Boko Nana Mai. Mano Gilo, Mano Giboko Boko Nana Mai.
Eno kenyita mere mate horaciolo ano se serelo awodora.
This is Business Breakfast on...
All right. Thank you very much for sticking and staying with us. The song in the background is Mano G by Stone Boy. Mano G. Mano G means that I'll keep on keeping on. So this Monday, just keep on keeping on. As you're going about your day, don't give up. Don't give up. All right, if you're looking forward to owning your own house in just 2 years with no interest repayment, then of course Lakeside Estate has got you covered. Guess what? They got an exclusive offer for you. Yes, you heard me right. Your dream home, no interest for 2 solid years. And this offer gives you affordable payments, flexible home purchase plan, quality homes, and lifestyle choice. And you get to choose from a variety of the beautiful homes in any of the Lakeside Hills clusters. So your future awaits. Just imagine living in a home you love, with the freedom to invest in your dreams without the burden of interest. Just imagine. Well, as a CMG Real Estate Company of the Year for the 4th time, we offer you hassle-free home acquisition. All you have to do is to call us today on 020-477-5042, 020-477-5042, or 020-477-5040, 020-477-5040, or 050-1418-622, 050-1418-622. Don't miss out on this incredible opportunity. Just call us now to learn more and schedule a tour of our available homes. Lakeside Estate, quality home for all.
This is Business Breakfast on Zed 101.9 FM.
Right, 5 after 8. This is a Business Breakfast on Zed with me, Nitrebi Hammond. Well, we get into our market trends conversation pretty soon. And today, as I indicated earlier, we're going to talk about the T-bill market. They experienced some oversubscription over the weekend. And so we get to understand what is fueling this. Because over the past few weeks or so, they've experienced under subscription. What is changing? Why are people now getting back onto the market? We get to understand every single piece of that in our in our market trends conversation, really. So don't go anywhere. We'll get into that very, very soon. But enjoy the spot of music. We'll be right back. market, where there's been an interesting shift. Now, after weeks of mixed results, the government has returned to an oversubscription at auction, and notably, interest rates have also eased again. And we're going to understand all of these things. So we're asking, what does this mean for investors? What does it mean for businesses and the economy at large? I have joining me over the phone lines Ebenezer Otu Oakley, who is an economic policy analyst, and he is going to help us break these things down. Eben, good morning. You're welcome to the Business Breakfast on Zed.
Good morning, and thank you very much.
All right. Thank you very much for making time to speak to us this morning. Maybe just before we get into that, how did the news come to you about the subscription rate for the last auction?
Okay, I mean, I wasn't so surprised because from the beginning of the year, when the new government assumed office, I've seen some declining rate, so I wasn't very surprised. Even though after that, we also realized that at the point there were some mixed reactions and mixed rates, but I think I wasn't surprised at all when I saw it.
I see. So maybe you can run us through the details. What were the real details? How much was government looking for to raising? How much was it able to raise, and all of that before we get into some questions?
Okay, so the government was looking forward to raise about 6.1 billion Ghana cedis, but there was, like, as we all know, oversubscription. So they received about 7.2 billion Ghana cedis, but of course they have to reject some. Okay, it's not mandatory that they reject the rest of it, but I mean, previous governments decided to, or let me say, continue and accept all the subscriptions that come, but they have decided that okay, this is oversubscribed. We said we want 6.1 billion, and that is what we want. So even though they got 7.2 billion subscriptions, they still went to accept only the 6.1 billion Ghana cedis that they wanted.
But they could have actually taken everything, isn't it?
Exactly. They could have actually. So this means that there's about 80.2 oversubscription percentage, 80.2% oversubscription. But they didn't accept 18.2% oversubscription, right? Because they know what they want. And looking at our debt situation, you do not want to become so much debt. So in doing that, we are trying to control the debt situation and also ensure that our debt levels are quite low, and we are able to service our debt also, so that it doesn't put pressure on the government.
All right, still run us through the details in terms of the 91 day, the 182 day, and also the 364 day bills. What were the specifics in line with that?
Can you come again, please?
No, I'm asking. I'm saying that you should still run us through the specifics. Now, the 7.2 you mentioned, I want to believe that is the overall. Yes. But so, what are the specifics in terms of the 91-day bill, the 182, and also the 364-day bills? What are the specifics in terms of that? How much was tendered in? What was the uptake and all of that?
Okay, so that for the 91 bill, the tendered subscription was 5.3 billion, but they accepted only 5.2. For the 182-day bill, the tendered bill was 1.5 billion. I mean, in Ghana cedis terms, right? But they accepted only 1.2. And then for the 361, this is more like the annual one, the tendered bills were 381.2 million Ghana cedis, but accepted only 1,192.9 million Ghana cedis. So we realize that in all these bill securities, they were over subscription, so they didn't accept all the subscriptions that came. Yeah.
Well, just for the sake of our listeners, what does it mean when we say T-bill auction? T-bills auction is oversubscribed. What does it mean?
Okay, so T-bills are like the government lending. Let me see, the public lending money to the government, right? So they are short-term government securities. We have some long-term securities and short-term. So the T-bills are short term because we say that it's normally within 1 year. So we can talk about the next month, talk about the 182 and then the 365 is right. So when these T-bills are oversubscribed, it means that banks, were ready to lend more money to the government than the government wanted. So in this case, we say that the government wanted 6.1 billion Ghana cedis, but they received 7.2, right? So the oversubscription occurs when the amount of money investors are willing to lend to the government exceeds the amount that the government intends to borrow from the public. Okay, so in this case, this function is actually performed by the Bank of Ghana, where they receive subscription on behalf of the government. Right. So people were ready to lend money to the government, but the government says, okay, I want something less than what you are giving me for some reason. Yeah.
Right. So the people who want to lend the money, they do that through the banks, isn't it?
Exactly. Okay, so they have their respective bank. So everybody has a bank. Go to the bank, say, okay, I want to buy a treasury bill. So the bank does that for you using your account, right? So they take the money from your account, they debit your account, then they buy the treasury bill for you.
Right.
From the Bank of Ghana. Yeah.
Okay, but what factors could have contributed to this week's oversubscription?
Okay, so you see, the recent decline, I would say, is largely due to investor confidence. Right? So you realize that people have confidence in the system now. That okay, the government is going to service it, that I'm not going to lose my money. So people, one is the confidence that people have in the system, and two, which we normally overlook, is the fact that we don't really have a lot of investment options in this country, right? Viable investment options. So, or even if we have, they are not really. People are not really educated on them. Most people know the treasury bills. Okay, so that makes people always want to go for that investment. And also, the other thing is that it's, like you all know, we say in theory, we say treasury bills are risk free. Right. So you know that okay, for this one, I'm not going to lose my money. I'm lending to the government, and I'm going to get my money back. So you realize that even though the rates are still declining, people still going for it because one, they have confidence in the system that the government would honor their debt service obligations, and they also believe that, like I said, we don't really have a lot of investment packages or options available, and of course, it's also less risky. And you see, sometimes with the liquidity in the system also influences that. Sometimes the banks have too much money, right, and they can't keep the money in their with them at the bank without the money going out to work, because at the end of the month they have to pay people interest, right?
Right.
So even if the rates are low, it's still better. Half a cake is better than none, right? So they will still buy the bills even though the rates are lower, because they have too much liquidity in their hand, because people have deposited the money and those money must be invested. And because if you look at the other options available, maybe real estate or maybe government bonds are riskier. You see, for government bonds, for instance, you realize that when there was a cut, it affected it. So they will go for a safer option, and the safest investment option in this country is the T-bills. So that is why these are some of the reasons why that affected the oversubscription.
Right. And you're saying that the investors are still heavily buying T-bills despite the interest rates because of because the banks can't how do you call it? The banks don't want to keep their monies, isn't it?
Exactly. They can't keep the money with them. Otherwise, they wouldn't. At the end of the month, there wouldn't be any return on those monies to be able to pay interest rate. And I mean, of course, to also run their day-to-day operations as a bank, they need money. The interest they get from this treasury bill is quite a significant part of their revenue at the end of the day.
Well, let's try to analyze the current situation. Now, how significant is the easing of interest rates this time around?
I didn't get that.
I'm asking that how significant is the easing of interest rates this time around?
Okay, so it's quite marginal, because the current treasury bill rate for 91 days about 14.2 or so. So the decline is just about 13 basis points, right, from the 15.2%. But like I said, it's still significant based on the nominal value of the investment that the person is making. So if let's say you are making 15.3% on your 91-day treasury bill and it has now dropped to about 14.2, it's quite marginal, right? But depending on the amount of investment you are making, it still affects, right? The return that you'll be getting. So I think it's marginal, but I'll still say it's significant to make most of these banks, and to also influence their decision making.
I see. All right, but you earlier on mentioned that the oversubscription is also because of renewed investor confidence in government securities. Yes. Now, could this be a sign that inflation fears are reducing?
Okay, so first of all, this could also mean that the cost of borrowing will be affected, right? Because if the treasury bills reduces, then it means that the banks are likely to also reduce the lending rate. Okay, so let's look at it this way: the lending rate and the T-bill rates are quite heavily correlated. Okay, because they both indicate the cost of borrowing in the market. Now, if the banks realize that they can lend money to the government at a higher rate, then they will prefer to lend money to the government than to the private sector, or let me say individuals and businesses. So that means that the interest rate to increase in that aspect. Now, but if like we are experiencing right now, the treasury bill rates are dropping, that will mean that the cost of borrowing to the individual or to the private sector will also drop. Because if the government side is dropping, I can now, lend money to the private sector at a rather higher rate. Now, the reason I'm saying this now, in relation to your question, if that happens, if the treasury bill rate drops, then it will influence inflation to also drop. Because if the cost of borrowing drops, then people or businesses can get cheap capital, right? And when they get cheap capital, it will influence the production. That means the cost of production will fall, and when that happens, prices are likely to also fall. So you see that the analogy, like how it affects from the treasury bill rate to the lending rate to it affecting the cost of capital to it affecting cost of production, and then it will relate to prices, right? So, like you said, it has a way of affecting it. It's a sign of fears in reducing the inflation. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Let's try and look at the risk and implication. Then we can wrap up. Now, the government relies heavily on T-bills. Do you think the frequent reliance on the T-bills is sustainable in the long term for the government?
Well, if you, for the domestic borrowing, like the TB, for instance, regardless, it will be difficult for the government to default, right? Because when we are borrowing in the domestic market, we are borrowing in Ghana cedis. So when it becomes difficult, we can do quantitative easing to meet the obligations, or let me say payback, right? So the T-bill is quite dependable, quite dependable compared to borrowing in the capital market. And now that the capital market is also close to us and we cannot borrow because we are under a program, then the governments are to resort to the T-bills. But also, so that is the good aspect, right? What's the benefit that government gets from this? But then when we are looking at the other side of it, then we can see that it can also increase our debt levels also, right? And week in, week out, the government is borrowing from the treasury bill market because we need money to take off some short-term expenses that we need to do, right? This is going to increase the debt levels. The frequent borrowing can escalate the national debt, like we are seeing. So that is one of it. And then the interest payment that it comes with, right? So don't forget that the government has to pay interest on all these treasury bills. So then the debt servicing, it's high interest payment, and that is why we see that when we look at our general revenue as a country, what we are able to collect in terms of taxes and even grant, a chunk of it, over 40% of it, goes into servicing debt. Right? What has saved us this time around is the fact that we are under a debt restructuring program. So that's where the debt servicing burden on us. But of course, if you're also borrowing a lot from the treasury market, you have to pay, and that can also be a problem because it will increase the debt and the interest payment that we have to pay.
I see. But does this have any effect on the private sector? Essentially, could excessive borrowing through T-bills hurt the private sector in any way?
Oh, yes. So in the beginning, when I was trying to create the relationship between the T-bill rate and the lending rate, I made mention of the fact that sometimes when the T-bills rates are high, then the banks are more likely, or they prefer to lend money to the government than to the private sector, right?
Okay.
Good. So you realize that there's something we call crowding out effect, right? This is when high government borrowing leads to higher interest rates. So in that case, like I mentioned, if the T-bill rates are high, that means the government is even buying more T-bills, and even when they are oversubscribed, they still buy. And like demand and supply, if you want more money, if you want more of the T-bill, the rate will increase. So in this case, it could affect private sector. They won't get money. They won't get capital for investment.
Right.
Okay. So in this case, if the government is not really, let me say, buying more bills, or let me say rejecting the oversubscribed bills, then it gives the banking sector or the bankers some free space to lend money to the private sector. I don't know if you're getting it. So they get money now, so that if somebody can, okay, I want capital to invest, I want to start some killing business, I need money, then the banks can get money to give to the person because they have liquidity currently standing in their reserve.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Maybe I'll leave you at this point. But could the easing of the rate signal that the government's cash demands are slowing down?
Come again, please.
I'm asking that could the easing of the rates signal that the government's cash demands are slowing down gradually?
Oh yes. So you see, and if you could realize the first quarter for GRA, they mentioned that they were able to
exceed their target. Yeah.
Exceed their target, right? Good. So that means that the consolidated fund has some excess money than we planned for, right?
Okay.
So if you don't need it, why go for it?
Right.
You see, so it means that we have some space, and like you could also see, the government is trying to reduce expenditure, cut down expenditure, and all that. So this will give some space for the government to not spend so much, and it will also give the government some fiscal space to go around some of all these things. So I think it means that spending pressures or expenditure pressures are also coming down, which is good.
Okay, so what should individual investors look out for in the next few weeks regarding T-bills and also interest rates? Maybe if you can make some predictions.
Okay, so there could be, I foresee, or let me see, I foresee further falling of the T-bill rates. Okay, so and which is going to also affect interest rates. So which and in that case, that one is good news for investors and for people in the private sector and individuals. So I predict interest rates to fall. Right? Good.
So how can investors prepare accordingly?
Yeah, so in that regard, investors should now look for, if interest rates are going down, then they should look at other viable how do you call it? Investment options. Right? Good. So look for other viable investment options, and also look at how you can invest in inwardly. So what are some expansion that you need to do? Because now rates are low, interest rates are low, so probably you can expand. internally. You can recoup your investment and expand internally because you have lower rates, lower cost of capital. So if you can expand, then I think it's something that investors can look at. Going forward.
All right, Eben, thank you very much for making time to speak to me this morning. Great insights there. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
All right, that was Ebenezer Otu Oakley, who is an economic policy analyst, and he was helping us understand why the Bank of Ghana, or why the government experienced some oversubscription in the T-bill market in the last auction. Now, so clearly, it is evident that the renewed investor appetite for T-bills and the easing of rates opening up several conversations about market confidence, also liquidity, and then the future of borrowing and lending in Ghana. As always, we'll keep a close eye. We'll be keeping a close eye on how these trends evolve and what opportunities and risks they might bring. So stay with us for more insights in the coming weeks as we have conversations on that. So we're going to get into our roundtable discussion proper. And today we're talking about how AI can help you in maintaining a healthy and a safe working environment. And we're going to get into that very soon. My guests are ready. I have one in studio already, and two other ones are joining me over Zoom for this particular important conversation. So please don't go anywhere. We'll take a quick music break. When we return, we get into the conversation. Stay tuned.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. God, thank you for sunshine. Thank you for rain. Thank you for joy. Thank you for pain. It's a beautiful day. Yeah, 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 yeah. It's a beautiful day. Yeah. If I take the blame, put it all on me. I just pray that I won't end up lonely. This world will drive you real crazy and out of control. Make you wanna pull out and let them shots go. Have to just chill out, 'cause I don't wanna stop. Losing homies really hurting my soul. Matter how rough that road, far you go, take it easy and live life slow. Through all the highs and lows, stay 10 toes down like you're digging for gold. God, thank you for sunshine, thank you for rain, thank you for joy, thank you for pain. It's a beautiful day, yeah, 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 yeah. It's a beautiful day, yeah. And thank you for this life, sorry I complain. The ups and the downs, it's just a part of the game. It's a beautiful day, yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a beautiful day, yeah. Ride through the city, just reflecting on me. While they hating, I'm just keeping it cool. I ain't even tripping, long as money keep flipping and then sticking to me like glue. Before the carjack, I couldn't hit that. I pulled the Akon, she let me smack that. Yeah, I was down bad, then I bounced back. I took a wrong turn, ended up on the right track. No matter how rough that road, far you go, take it easy and live life slow. Through all the highs and lows, stay 10 toes down like you're digging for gold. God, thank you for joy, thank you for pain. It's a beautiful day, yeah, 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 yeah. It's a beautiful day, yeah, yeah. And thank you for this life, sorry I complain. The ups and the downs, it's just a part of the game. It's a beautiful day, yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a beautiful day, yeah.
God, thank you for sunshine, thank you for rain, thank you for joy, thank you for pain. It's a beautiful day, yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a beautiful day, yeah.
This is Business Breakfast on Z101.9 FM. Stay tuned to your lifestyle, leisure, and business radio.
Stay 10 toes down like you're digging for gold. God, thank you for sunshine, thank you for rain, thank you for joy, thank you for pain. It's a beautiful day, yeah, 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 yeah. It's a beautiful day, yeah. And thank you for this life, sorry I complain. The ups and the downs, it's just a part of the game. It's a beautiful day, yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a beautiful day, yeah. Ride through the city, just reflecting on me. While they hating, I'm just keeping it cool. I ain't even tripping, long as money keep flipping and then sticking to me like glue. Before the carjack, I couldn't hit that. life slow. Through all the highs and lows, stay 10 toes down like a digging for gold. God, thank you for sunshine, thank you for rain, thank you for joy, thank you for pain. It's a beautiful day, it's a beautiful day, and thank you for this life, so we not complain. The ups and the downs is just a part of the game. It's a beautiful day, it's a beautiful day,
God, thank you for sunshine, thank you for rain, thank you for joy, thank you for pain. It's a beautiful day, it's a beautiful day,
Stay tuned to your lifestyle, leisure, and business radio.
Zed 101.9 FM. Zed 101.9 FM.
This is Business Breakfast on Zed 101.9 FM. This is Business Breakfast on Zed 101.9 FM.
All right, thank you very much for sticking in on Zed 101.9 FM. 20 minutes to the top of the hour, and we're getting into our roundtable discussion right away. Now, today we're having a very great conversation on World Day for 20 minutes to the top of the hour, and we're getting into our roundtable discussion right away. Now, today we're having a very great conversation on World Day for Safety and Health at Work 2025. Now, this particular day, 28th April annually, is a day set aside by the International Labour Organization to actually observe. Very much for joining us for what I believe promises to be a fascinating conversation about a topic that is revolutionizing industries worldwide, the role of artificial intelligence in supporting safety and health at work. Now, the theme for this year's World Day for Safety and Health at Work is revolutionizing health and safety, the role of artificial intelligence and digitalization at work. And so, as we all know, AI has already started making some in several aspects of our professional lives. But today we are focusing on one of the most important areas, ensuring the safety and the well-being of workers. Can AI truly transform workplace safety? How can it be integrated into health and safety protocols? And what challenges should we be aware of as we embrace these new technologies? I'm thrilled to be joined by three leading AI experts who are the forefront of this particular conversation, and each of them brings in a wealth of experience and knowledge about how AI is not just changing the way we work, but also how it's reshaping the future of workplace health and safety. Well, I have joining me in studio now Stephen Nase, who is a marketing, communications and technology consultant. Over Zoom, I have Eric Apia, who is the director of Apia Information Technology Systems, and all the way from Ontario, Canada, Juan Jimenez. Understand a few things this morning. Let me start in studio with Nase. I call him Uncle Nase.
Don't do that.
Right, you're welcome. You're welcome to the
Thanks
business.
for having me.
But so grateful that you made time to come here this morning. All right, and I have Eric. Eric, good morning. Thank you very much and welcome to the Business Breakfast on Zed.
Good morning. I'm so grateful to be on this platform. Thank you. Good morning.
Right. And Juan, you're welcome to the Business Breakfast on Zed.
Thank you very much, Robert. Yes, it's a little bit early this morning here in Ontario, in Ottawa, Canada, but I'm so happy and glad to be here. Honored.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What time is it there?
It's 4:43 a.m.
And you make time to join this conversation. We are really, really grateful that you joined us. Gentlemen, let's start the conversation on this note. Let's look at the bigger picture. How is AI changing the way we work generally? Let me start in studio with you, Nase.
Thank you very much for having me, and good morning, everyone else. Eric and Juan, good to be on the program with you. I think maybe to understand, I need to go back to what really AI is.
Absolutely.
Okay, so AI really is, if we think about it as artificial intelligence, it's just leveraging technology to do the things that human beings, to kind of imitate or mirror things that human beings can do. But the reason why that's important is that it can do it with scale, so that it leaves human beings to focus on the things that they can do best.
Right.
If you understand what I mean. So AI is important in as much as it can mirror what human beings do and better it. I often say that technology has no value if it cannot improve what human beings do. So bringing it to this conversation, how can AI help us, for example, to get data to be able to understand the safety protocols and also look at the hazards that we have in the workplace, even understand the health of the individuals, the workforce. So we begin to see patterns in even the way that they take, let's say, sick days off, and if it's related to their work patterns and all of that. So that's the space in which I want to situate this.
Great. And you are into marketing
Yes.
and communication.
Yes.
How is it changing the way you work in your space?
Oh, okay. So one way is doing that, if you talk about marketing, for example, is helping us to be able to process data a lot better. We often say in marketing that you're a better marketer if you understand your consumers a lot better. So, for example, people are consuming products every day, okay, or they are moving away from your products every day. You need to understand that is producing data. You need to understand the data, so make sense of the data and begin to see why they are moving. And another way, for example, communication is a big part is what we call listening. So there are listening tools out there that we use. So you use the listening tools, for example, to be able to, let's say on social media, be able to identify potential crisis issues, triggers, so that you can plan to avoid these crises. If I plug, let's say, this show into one of the listening tools, you should be able to tell me the conversations that you've had over a period. Let's say since you opened, for example, you begin to see, for example, the conversations that are maybe getting the most engagement, and also begin to align the conversations with events that happened, let's say, in real life. So you begin to use that to also even be able to plan future programs. These are all ways that we're using AI in my industry.
Very interesting. So AI, all of this thing is being done by AI.
Yes, because for example, and you're a journalist, you understand this. In the old school, you have something called press curtains. So wake up in the morning, you have to go through newspapers and circle topics that are related to your sector or your industry using keywords. Now the AI tools are doing all the listening for you. There's one called Brand 24, Hootsuite, Stream, Talkwalker. These are all tools that they're using. So even you as a radio station, if you really want to be effective, you need to use these tools to be able to understand the conversations that are relevant to the audience. So you can set the right agenda. When you woke up this morning, what influenced the conversations that you should have today? These should not be just by intuition. They should be guided also by technology.
And that is why this is very important. We'll talk a bit more about that.
Yes.
But let me come to you, Juan. Juan, you are also into AI and automation solutions, and you say you're an architect in that particular space. Tell us, how is AI, because I know you provide solutions for a lot of people. Tell us how you're using AI to help people in their businesses and what have you.
Thank you for the question. So the idea always has been, the idea of technology in general always has been make our life easier, okay? Is try I'm talking with technology since the beginning of the time of the humanity. And now the growth and exponential growth that has been happening with the AI since not only this year, we're talking about probably 12 years ago or 15 years ago. It has been again exponential. It's so fast right now that it's barely impossible to keep up with whatever is happening in the technology world. Now, the solutions that we help, my team and I, we help to help the businesses, it never has been to replace people, for example. It's just to make sure that the people that work has the right tools and the right information at the right time to make better decisions. yeah, you call it social media, data analytics, even robotics now, and this subject that you bring us today, like for safety and work, we have the technology there. It's just we need to set up the grounds and make sure that the data that will be fed up back to the AI's tools like LLMs, it will be non-biased and going to be accurate, and it's going to be the right trending for the right people. Yeah.
I see. But what are some specific industries or probably job roles that are benefiting the most from AI right now?
Well, technically all of it in general. Definitely construction is been getting ahead in the race. Oil and gas companies are very, very good ahead in the technology. They need and they have a lot of data. And thankfully, again, the technology is not to replace people. So even if we are not talking about safety, like a physically safety at work, I think that people needs to keep, continuously thinking that you guys won't be replaced by AI. I don't think it's going to happen really anytime soon.
But
Yes.
you bring in that particular part of the conversation where a lot of people are scared that AI is coming for their jobs. How can somebody position themselves? I know we're going to come to the conversation proper to put it in context for today. But how can people position themselves to be able to stay relevant, even in the wake of AI? And I'm coming back to you again on that before I move to Eric.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you. I think it's just training. It's just don't be afraid to embrace the AI. It's not Terminator. It's not like the movies. It's not like that. The AI is still, even if we have been almost working with them for 15 years already, is still not ready to be a takeover for the humanity. It's not. It's still, the AI is not.
So you're going to have to learn some new things and also upskill. So but the key is that technology is still only an enabler. It's there only to make us more effective. And so if we see it that way, then technology is not seen as a threat.
Right.
And then we take the mystery also out of AI. We don't want to oversimplify and reduce AI to just ChatGPT, but also don't want to overcomplicate it so that people will feel that it's within their range, it's accessible. They don't have to be techies to be able to embrace AI.
Right.
And embrace, as in give AI a good hug and a good squeeze. It's friendly. That's how I like to present it.
I see. Let me come to you, Eric. Eric, you are also working with a lot of organizations in line with this. Maybe your initial thoughts, and also I get to ask you, what are some of the challenges organizations face when they are trying to incorporate or introduce AI into their workforce? Eric.
All right. So thank you once again. So the first thing is the initial thought. So I agree with Juan that AI is not coming to replace you. It is actually to support you. So I am an AI trainer with Mobile Web Ghana, and then I've actually trained over 200 people in AI, and professionals who come before and after the training, we're able to tell that their productivity has increased and their efficiency is off the roof. and some of the things that is supposed to be their fears that they are going to be replaced, they will now get to know that they are it's actually supposed to help them to be more efficient. Okay, and so the idea that the fears that people have that the AI is going to replace them, maybe they should get AI education. When they come and then we train them, they will get to know that it is not actually supposed to replace you, but supposed to make you more efficient, especially the professionals. And then the second thing that you asked, can you come again?
Yes, I was asking that what are some of the challenges you face or companies or organizations face when they're trying to introduce or incorporate AI into their workforce?
Okay, so one of the things that I do at my workplace is that we build AI agents, chatbots. So you see that most of the times when organizations are running promo, okay, on social media and all of those stuff, they have to keep responding and chat a lot of people on WhatsApp. So we actually automate that. Right. And one of the challenges that we realize that if you are introducing such a solution to an organization, the first thing is adoption rate. You know, in our part of the world, we've heard AI, but what is the adoption rate? What is the mindset of the people that they will adopt? Are we early adopters, late adopters? And so, because of the mindset that we have here, late adopters, is sometimes the technology will be there for like 5 years before the business owners and so on and so forth begin to embrace the technology. And now, even the professionals, most of them think the whole idea about AI is just ChatGPT. And so they prompt ChatGPT. And even the way they even prompt ChatGPT is an issue. And so the results. So my work with Mobile Web Ghana, where you come, we train you on prompt engineering, all aspects, and introduce you to very good tools that can enhance, productivity. And so for the adoption rate, for now, I would say that it's very low, especially for organizations. It's just a few organizations that are able to put a bet on the AI and adopt it immediately as it is now fresh.
I see. All right. Now let me come in studio and speak to Nana. Let's narrow the focus. Now let's talk about how digitalization and AI specifically are impacting the workplace. But how is AI currently being used? But just before that, Nana, here in Ghana, what do you think? Do you think that businesses are adopting AI?
I think the rate of adoption, like Eric said, is very, very slow. And it's partly because businesses don't understand even the potential enough. Not just the threat, but they don't understand the potential enough. And so we need to do more education. We need to have programs like this one,
right,
where I still see us as evangelists preaching the message to people to embrace it, to adopt it. And then also, number two, engage people like Eric and the team at Mobile Web and other places to develop bespoke, solutions for them in-house. Yeah.
But so how is it being currently used? How is AI being currently used to identify hazards in the workplace? Can you give some examples?
All right. So for example, Shell has a good example, and one talked about the oil and gas industry, for example, that they need to, for example, because they run huge operations, very, very, machine, influence and all of that, need to identify hotspots, for example, and also be able to track potential hazards, and also be able to even identify even sequences of frequency of even working on machine servicing and all of that. So all that data is captured with the right AI tools. All that data is captured, and when that's captured, then there's what we call predictive analytics, using that data to be able to even plan future maintenance of machines, for example, to be able to plan even the kind of like assignment of people onto, jobs, for example, if they would need to go on a grade, for example, looking at the historical data, what has been the hazards, what have been the challenges, and be able to plan with this data. So they're doing what we call data-led decision making.
Right.
Okay. To avoid these. Number two, you would find also that in a lot of these industries, you find that work can be very tedious. Okay. I'll use a typical example like a call center. You find that people are answering the same calls, answering the same questions.
The same questions.
Yeah. So like Eric said there, you can automate a lot of these repetitive tasks. Now, the reason why that's important is that when people work in call centers and they're answering the same calls, you find that if you observe it over a period after 2-3 hours, they begin to, there's tension, there's all sorts going fatigue and all those things going on, headache, and they send it to the customers. It impacts how they treat the customers. So with AI integrated, you can move these monotonous and repetitive tasks over to AI processing these, and the human being only has to analyze them, make sure. And he talked about chatbots, for example. And again, in Ghana, this is what we've missed, and I'll just end with that one. Often when you are engaging with a bot, sometimes you hear the bot saying that, I didn't get that. Can you repeat it? Sometimes it's a signal for human being to intervene. Because there's data in, and the data that goes in is what the bot will produce as answers to it. And so if that question has never been answered, for example, never been answered, the system doesn't have the answer. So the human being needs to input that data. This is what we miss it sometimes. So you see that there's a break between the bot we've bought to use and the human being. The interface is not there.
How does language play a role? Because let's say you're working in a telco that has people coming in and people who don't speak English at all. They speak just the local languages. How can AI help in that particular space? Does AI still work in that space?
Yeah, it's very easy. You could use AI tools out there that can translate them. So, for example, once they identify the language, it translates it. It might not be very accurate. Again, this is where the human being needs to intervene sometimes. So you need to look at the historical data because it's machine learning. So it's learning from the things that a human being is doing. And the next time that same question is asked, now it has the answer inside, so it can produce the correct answer.
Right. Juan, do you have anything to add to that? Are there some other workplaces who are leveraging AI to as it were, identify hazards and all of that?
Yeah. For example, we have worked with teamwork marketing solutions. Gmail customers. Okay. Let's say that the latest sample that I have on top of my mind is an offer for tires for cars, right? The important thing, the most beautiful and dynamic thing in that sense was that based on the car that and the hobbies that the people is using they set up in their profiles. We were able to set up the email itself in a very customized and personalized way to reach them. So in other words, we were able to talk with, 400,000 people in their own language. Like with the use of the AI, we were able to go at that level to make sure that whatever I'm telling you is actually what you want to hear on the sense of the offer of the product. Okay, it's not like I'm trying to convince you or trying to brainwash you. It's just like if you have a Toyota, then and you go to during the weekends to trips and with dirt and mud and stuff, then we were try to offer you a kind of tire that will help you in that hobby, for example. That was the latest sample that I can give you.
Wow. Okay,
Stephen, I like that. I like what Juan just said. As a marketing person, I just want to add to that and bring it local. How many times you get junk mail for example, emails that are irrelevant. And in Ghana, we're making the mistake of buying data from all sorts, getting data from all sorts of places, and just blasting our emails to the people. If you do that, your conversion rate is minimized. What one is saying there is that it's more targeted with the tool, with the AI tools. You're talking about 400,000. No human being can really segment and do analyze the data effectively, as effective as AI. An AI tool can do that. But with the assistance of the AI, you can blast it, and the AI will distribute the messages to the right people. So, for example, since you work at the radio station, for example, it will learn from you and your profile, the things that you are interested in. If it's news, for example, you do business news, it will not send you news on religion and things like that. It will send you, for example, news on business on politics.
Very specific.
Things that are, So that way it knows you, and because it knows you and is sending you targeted emails, the conversion rate is higher because it's personalized to you. The emails you get won't be the same as I get.
I see. Eric, can AI, do you agree, can AI help reduce human error when it comes to safety practices?
Yeah. So we in some of the work that we've done, so for instance, a typical example is the AI agent for WhatsApp sales. Okay. Like he was saying, some of the work, the interacting with the people is very tedious and stressful. So if you are running a promo, for instance, and you are responding to queries of about 1,000 people, that would be very stressful for the individual or the salesperson. So if we automate this with the AI to answer accurately and specifically, and most importantly, personalized information. So we can tailor-make the responses for you based on your personal information. And so I think that alone helps one to minimize errors, responding to, let's say, 1,000 people, queries from 1,000 people and more. And then the second thing is also to relieve the stress from the sales support. If one person will have to sit at a desk and respond to all these queries for longer hours, it will affect, one, their mental health, and then two, the stress level they will have to go home with. And so I think that AI is really helpful in that regard. Thank you.
I see. So what specific technologies like robots or drones are helping to improve safety in dangerous jobs? I know we're speaking about sales, but I know there are other more dangerous jobs that AI is transforming. Maybe you may want to tell us some of them, Eric.
All right. So if we are talking about AI, unfortunately, we find ourselves in the part of the world where we don't really see companies using robotics and advanced technologies. However, I can speak to the mining areas, for instance, where Anglo Gold Ashanti, for instance, is using environmental sensors to detect environmental hazards and identifying unsafe zones. And so being plugged this with AI will, one, help with predictive analytics. With all these data going to the AI is able to predict whether an event is going to occur, and even the minute details. At a workplace like that, one of the big issues is the details that are left out, that are unseen and are left out by the people. And these details can be very hazardous. And so these minute details can be spotted by the AI. Okay. When we're talking about the international, let's bring the international cases as well. So we have CrossML. CrossML created a model, an AI model that is able to reduce accidents by identifying unsafe zones via camera. and cutting downtime by 30%. So these are models that have been trained with camera. So specifically, they are observing the camera in the workplace, okay? And they're able to identify unsafe zone and alert management,
right?
Okay, and it was reported that they are able to cut downtime by 30%. And so I believe that this is a very good area to check.
I see. Nana say.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think another area in which it's being used in industry, again in the oil and gas and other industrial, is where people, what we call wearables.
Yeah, wearables.
Okay, so the wearables are AI integrated and they're able to track, for example, people, even their stress levels throughout the day, the potential the need for rest and all those things. Now, typically, if you're working with people without this data, you're going to have to leave it to people to decide which shifts they should be on, when to take their holidays. And performance reduces when people are stressed or when they need a holiday and all those things. With this data, you can use it to manage even the allocation of people to shifts, for example. People want to work for 10 hours if you allow them to. At some point, using data, you're able to tell them, no, you can only work for 6 hours, because the potential for you to get involved in a workplace accident or some kind of hazard is very high the minute you go beyond your 6 hours. So you need to plan that way. So these are all ways in which people are using data. Then also, you talked about, there are drones that have AI integrated data. So you can be able to get more data from the field without and not use cameras or rely on people's, whatever. So you're sitting at the center monitoring using these drones, so you'll be able to see the pictures in real time and be able to make decisions on even the movement of equipment when you're doing construction and all those things.
And back to the wearables.
Yes,
I hear there's an AI, or I read that there's an AI that can also detect even the heart rate. Of workers.
No, but these days, even people with your smart watches and things like that, you have some of these. For example, I'm a trainer. One of the things I've learned from just monitoring my stress levels and all these things is that whenever I have a training, I try to arrive at least an hour before the training starts. Go with my own pointer, my own laptop, all those things. Because when I go there now, I have to try the gadgets. They're not working and stuff. I start a little bit tensed up. That's me.
Right.
But I've learned that from just what my phone and my smartwatch is giving me. When I wake up in the morning, I haven't had enough sleep. It recommends to me that, for example, I need to probably have a glass of water or whatever before I start work.
Okay.
Imagine rolling this out to a whole workforce. Okay, you can use the same thing to even manage even class sizes. Let's bring it down, class sizes. Because when you have 6-year-olds, for example, and they are drinking all these juices, sugar juices, the teachers will be stressed, and you can imagine the kind of impact that it has on the children. Use data that's collected, tracking the stress levels of the teachers to be able to manage even the way that the teachers are assigned to classrooms and the support that they get.
AI is able to do all of that.
Are we seeing much of that here?
That's the challenge we have. But again, we need to have more conversations like this, and organizations need to be prepared to budget more, invest more in developing some of these tools, because some of these tools have to be bespoke. You can't buy them off the shelf.
I see 12 minutes after 9. This is a business breakfast on Zed. If you just tuned in this morning, we're having a conversation on how AI and automation and even technologies really can help maintain safety and good health in the workplace. And I'm speaking to 3 industry people who are telling us, who are giving us more details on how AI is transforming some of the various industries that we have. I have in studio Stephen Nase, who is a marketing and marketing communications and technology consultant, and also Eric Apia. He's a director of Apia Information Technology Systems, and Juan Jimenez, an AI and automation solutions architect. These are the gentlemen helping me answer the big question that can AI support health and safety at work? And they are giving us lots of examples. They've said that AI is transforming even education, oil and gas. We are testing how people are handling fatigue and all of that. We're trying to use some data from all of that to tell when even people can go on breaks and can go on leave and all of that, which is a very important conversation. Maybe you're listening
there's a particular industry you're working in, you want to understand how it can shape your industry, please feel free to send us a WhatsApp on 0544-321019, 0544-321019, or you can call me on 030-3956-641, 030-3956-641. We are live on Facebook and on YouTube. On Facebook we are ZFMGH on Facebook, and also on YouTube at Z Multimedia. You may want to engage our post there. We'll do what to read your comments as well. If you have any questions, any comments to make, feel free to engage us on any of our social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, and X at ZFMGH, and we'll do what to read that for you. Now let me come back into the conversation, and I'll come to you. One, how does AI improve emergency response time during accidents or workplace hazards? One.
Yes. Thank you for the question. So, we already need to be talking about wearables, which is the way that we will be able to connect our people with technology, right? So far until new technology comes probably next week. I'm talking figuratively, of course. The trends and the information and the data that it will be able to customize and make sure that every person based on age, on their profile, will be monitored, not 24/7, but at least during the time work. Now you can imagine a person working in a warehouse. Like, I don't know how many square feet or how big it is, but imagine a person of, 50 years old. It's just a sample, right? Is being fatigued, as we were mentioned before. He doesn't drink any water during the day. The weather is scorching hot. It's simply too much. And then suddenly the wearable is started to identify that the person hasn't drink water or any liquid. He has been working.
Hello. Right, I think we lost one there. Okay, let me come to you in studio. So he was sharing something along those lines, that AI is helping us identify even the water when somebody needs water and all of that. We want to add to that.
Definitely, and like I was saying, it's related to the one I was talking about, monitoring the heart rate and all of that. See, these are things that we leave to human beings to decide what time they want to take the break, what time they want to sip water, all those things. With wearables, you're getting the data. Okay, so if the human being will not do it himself, he gets an alert, or somebody will have to intervene and make that decision. But with the wearables, you can get the alerts. Time for another cup of water, time for this. So that also at the workplace, you can provide them these, whether it's water they need, or even, I'll give another example. People who work in a lot of factories, okay, because of the nature of the work, they get stressed a lot. So you need to even use data to kind of set up their canteen.
How?
Because if the canteen and the seats are not comfortable, they will go back from the break even more stressed.
I see.
And this is why it's gone into football. So, for example, football has become more tech-led because they're understanding a lot more data from even the way people are running. So even the dressing rooms are being customized.
Wow.
Okay. Get to a point where even people's beds using data have to customize so that it would influence their performance at work. This is how far we can push it. Unfortunately, we are not there yet, but in other places they are doing that. Because you have to understand that, talking about health and safety, the minute that the person is not all right, they'll make mistakes. And there's a likelihood that there will be an incident at work and all these hazards. So you need to, with access to the data, you can make some predictions and be able to put in place the measures and be able to solutions so that these are averted. Number two, you can also be able to kind of like allocate and assign people properly. Even understanding when it comes to interviews, these tests that we do, pre-interview tests that we do, assessments that we do, if you have AI tools generating some of the questions, for example, be able to understand and analyzing them, be able to understand the people better. Somebody comes very smart, you need to be able to understand, can they deal with sales in a certain sector, for example? Well, sales can be very stressful. If they are not scoring all right, can they deal with sales, for example? You need to manage them. Okay, so which areas, which kind of clients can they deal with? These are ways in which we're using, because otherwise, people will call in sick every day. They go and meet a client today who is very difficult. The next day, they don't look forward to coming to work. So you need to manage that. And begin to see, okay, they are taking days off. Is that associated with any part of their work environment or even the incidents at work? And begin to plan, have the right conversations with them, and where they need to be moved to other departments, move them to the departments that they need to move to.
I see. So there's a lot that we can do with AI from the conversation we've had so far. But the big problem, and it's not just a Ghana thing, I think it's an African thing. Usually when such technologies come up, we spend so long before we hop on them and we start to use them. What is the problem? Would you say that the wearables, for instance, as you mentioned, are expensive, that businesses in Ghana or some parts of Africa are able to actually get them to introduce them into their businesses?
I think as a consultant, one of the things I'll say is the businesses don't plan long term. And so when they're not investing enough in some of these technologies. Last week I was on another panel having another conversation. Somebody said that investment in AI today is insurance against the business's future tomorrow. So sometimes you have to look beyond the profits today and invest in some of these tools. Okay. The other bit also is that we need to have more conversations like this. Not every radio station will have this conversation today.
That's true.
But radio has a big role in all this.
In all of this.
At government level, we need to have some of these conversations and not have surface conversations. We need to have some of these deep conversations that are helping businesses to make the right decisions to invest in these things. And also, where the data is being churned out, okay, we need to invest in analyzing the data so that we can use that to make data-driven decisions about the future. We're not doing a lot of these things. We need to encourage businesses to do more of these.
I see. Let's talk about ethics and privacy concerns, which is a very major part when it comes to a very, very big one. How do we make sure that AI is used fairly in monitoring employees' health and safety without invading their privacy? Because we were making points about wearables and all of that. Maybe there's somebody who doesn't want to share their health situation. How do we handle that?
I think the first thing we need to do is that we need to be ethical in our use of AI. And by that I mean that we need to understand human beings, their privacy and their interests and all those things. Right. And also where we are gathering data on people's, whether their health, their stress levels, let people understand. There's a bit of onboarding that needs to be done so that people understand that this is the change that's going to happen. We onboard them so they know that we are capturing the data not to really make any decisions that will affect you negatively, but to help you to perform better. So the company does better, you get paid better, you go home every day in a better state to be able to come back in the morning. Because if the company doesn't do that, you go home to pass on the stress onto your friends and family. If this conversation is had in the right setting, then people will understand it. Number two, people who don't need to have access to such data should not be given access to this data. Okay. And often there's a challenge in this part of the world because somebody is a CEO or they're the marketing director. By their rank, they have access to all sorts of data when they don't need it. In the same way, if somebody is in the IT department, they have access to this data. They have access only as a functional role, so they don't have to use the data to make decisions that they don't need to make. Okay. Because you have the data doesn't mean that you can make some HR decisions or whatever. So these things need to be done. There you are guaranteeing people's privacy. Not this book. Otherwise, people would, reject it. They'll resist the introduction of technology into the workplace. But if people understand that it's for their own good, it's to prevent workplace hazards, improve their health and all those things, then they will embrace it. And also, let's make sure that we're using the right data and using the data in the right ways, not giving people access when they don't need the access. Right. And the security is guaranteed.
Right. I think I have one back on the line. He was making a point before we went up. Yes, you're back, right? Thank you. Great. So maybe you can try to wrap up what you were saying. You were making a point around the wearables and all of that, how they are impacting certain industries.
And the response times.
Exactly, the response times, really,
Thank you. Yeah, sorry, technical difficulties, AI is not here yet.
Right.
So yeah, so as I was saying in my sample, if a supervisor, for example, is, or not even supervisor, is the systems are monitoring the people at that moment, like the person has been working in a hot weather too long time, not drinking actually can send an alert to the supervisor first. Not to call an ambulance or anything because nothing happened, but at least call the immediate supervisor to make sure that at least he's trying to, hey, call him out and says, okay, take a break or drink water. It's something like that. That will immediately reduce any, it will be preventive, of course, and it will reduce any other action that could happen after that. If the people reject or deny to do that or simply refuse to do it, well, the supervisor have more information to act upon. Like it's possible to send them home and says, no, go to break and come back tomorrow or something. You're gonna get your help yourself if you keep working like that. And I heard like they were talking about privacy and everything, but yes, it's a delicate matter because again, the area is still gray, is still in developing, and even if monitoring will be good for your health and good for your own being, I still don't know. We need to set up ground rules to make sure how we use that information. And just to complete a little bit the idea here is that the AI system like ChatGPT or any LLM model that is been in the market right now, because there are thousands, they are trained in data. Okay, is as we were saying at the beginning, they don't know the answer. They just predict based on trends, based on data. So we need to also, the people that works in that environment, that warehouse, for example, needs to use specific data for that warehouse. You cannot compare the people in that specific environment with the whole world. It doesn't happen like that, and it will be not good to do it. Okay.
I see. But do you think AI systems can ever be fully unbiased when it comes to decision making in worker safety?
Excellent question. Thank you I was expecting that answer, that question for sure. Listen, the fact that I mentioned at the very beginning of the show is that the AI is not here to take our jobs. No, I don't think that AI systems are able to make a decision still. They are not. They only can support us to give better and faster information for us to make a decision.
Right.
So no, I don't agree that the AI system will call the police or will call the ambulance based on whatever is sensing or reading on the wearables. No, I don't think it's a good idea yet. I will say probably in 10 years. This can happen in 1 year or 10 years. I don't know. But at this moment, the AI is not ready for that.
I see Nase nodding.
I think one's very, very correct. That's the mistake we make. Because we've integrated AI, we're deploying them, that we cease to make the decisions that human beings should make. No, the AI only gives us the data, gives us the information, and the human being has to make the decision. That's why we often say you need to validate everything that you're getting from the technology.
Yeah. Right. Eric, are you with us? Hello, Eric. All right, I'm guessing that Eric will join. Will join us very soon. But how can companies also ensure transparency, which is also very, very important? How can they ensure transparency when they use AI to monitor their workers?
Like I was saying earlier, number one, don't sneak the tools out there onto the so like they begin to look like spies. Okay. Let people know that this is what we are deploying. This is the reason why we're doing it. So there's a bit of onboarding, engagement, stakeholder engagement before you roll it out. When people understand what the technology is for and what they are providing and how it will benefit them, the fear is taken away and the resistance is taken away. We also have to be ethical in doing that. So places where we don't need to be getting data from, we don't need to do that. Okay, we don't need to put cameras, for example, and also in places where we don't have to have cameras, if we are using cameras, for example. I think there are two other things I want to talk about.
Sure.
One of the challenges we have is that because there are not enough regulations in our part of the world around AI, we leave it to decision makers to often kind of stop us from doing this. You know, and even in the States, you've seen how, for example, people like Mark Zuckerberg, when they go for, questioning before the Senate, for example, you see how even the senators are not well informed and so different. So we, before the regulator comes and kind of like stops us in our tracks, we need to do a lot of self-regulation. That comes back to what the question you asked. Again, as tech people, as leaders, we need to make sure that we're self-regulating. So we're not abusing our access. In marketing, for example, we use this. Today, you can use AI tools to generate all sorts of videos.
That's true.
TVCs, to be able to fly them on TV. But you need to ensure that what you are presenting on TV to promote your product is as real as possible.
Okay.
Otherwise, you are selling untruth to your, target audience, and that's unethical. You understand what I'm saying? Yes. In the same way, when you use AI to generate, let's say, human beings, let's say you sell, let's say, maybe flat tummy, whatever.
Yeah.
Use AI to generate images to promote it. Don't deceive your target market to believe that this is a real human being who isn't. No, you've generated it. So we need to be ethical and also need to self-regulate in doing these.
But how do you juxtapose that against, say, you know that this is what my product can do? And I'm just touching on that briefly. I know it's not directly related, but this is what my product can do. You generate an image of the end, maybe the results of their product. Is that ethical, or is it?
As long as you communicate that this is this is not a real human being, but this is a representation of what it can give you, then you're fine. So the communication has to be complete.
Right. Okay. Eric, are you there now? Hello, Eric. Hello, Eric. I think Eric dropped again. Okay, let me bring one back into the conversation. Well, we're talking about transparency before we went off. And I was asking Nase that how can companies ensure transparency when they use AI to monitor their workers? One. Hello. Hello. Oh, so I think we have a challenge that we need to look at it. So maybe I should come back to you. I don't like how this is going, but we still have a conversation. One thing is that AI can make mistakes. And we need to talk about that. What do you have to say about that? And to anybody that is listening, that is leveraging AI in one way or the other.
So I think the starting point is that let's not over depend on AI and think that the AI will always be correct and give us every answer that we need. Okay. And so let's test, let's interrogate, let's query every response that we're getting. You understand what I'm saying? Let's query every response that we're getting. People have stopped thinking, if I can put it that way. People have stopped thinking and are just putting prompts into AI and generating all sorts of results. No, we can't do that. We need to continue thinking, even think at a higher level now, so that we are making the judgment. The AI is only providing us with the results, and we are making judgment based on those results. And where we cannot validate them. Because, so, for example, if it's telling you based on some data somebody has put in that, for example, ZFM has been operating for, let's say, 10 years, and you know it's not correct, you need to be able to make that decision and be able to overrule that. And we need to do these things. Number two, before you even put in a prompt, this is why the key is in the prompt. You need to know the questions that you're asking, to ask the right questions. So you need to be informed enough to be able to ask the right questions.
to be able to
get the results,
get
the right
results that you're looking for, right? So what happens if an AI system makes a mistake that leads to an accident in a working setting or working environment, like we're talking about? Say a wearable gives a wrong information about a particular person, and then they take offense.
Well, we're getting into the legal field now. There are a few stories about, for example, even ChatGPT being sued. This is in a different context, being sued in Australia, for example, for giving wrong results, for somebody putting in a prompt, being sued. We need to test these. When these things are the example you gave, when it happens, we need to test it in court. I would assume, based on the little legal knowledge that I have, that the question will be whether or not the management or the users of the AI tools interrogated the results, the data that they were getting enough. They didn't just take the data and make decisions on it. And so they exposed their employees to such danger. Because you have to still be responsible. This is what we talk about, responsible use of AI. You need to be responsible so that you're not just lifting the data and making decisions on it, but then you are even interrogating it enough. Yeah. And that's where I think the question will be when it comes to the legal aspect of it.
So companies should be held accountable.
Yes, because they are deploying them, and then the fact that they are deploying these tools doesn't mean that they cease to be in existence. The key is that you are getting information from these tools.
Right.
What did you do when you got the data? Did you examine it to validate it? Did it make sense? Did you think about the potential that this could be wrong? And so did you check and double check and all those things? If you didn't do that, then you were negligent, and that's where you become culpable.
But don't you
or did you even deploy the right tools?
But don't you think that could deter companies from actually relying on AI in these early stages?
It shouldn't,
because of its potential, susceptibility to making certain mistakes.
It should. That'll be a cop out. I think rather, if you look at the positives, it should rather make them procure and deploy the right tools instead of just copying out and then not embracing AI at all.
All right, and so there's a lot to do in that particular space. All right, we will take a quick break, and then we'll try and connect one, and then because I don't like the fact that we're having a conversation without them, so we'll try and connect them.
That's
and then we'll have
further.
Yeah, I know, right? Then we'll continue the conversation. But please, you're still tuned into Business Breakfast on Zed 101.9 FM with me, Nee Trevi Hammond, and we're having a conversation on whether AI can transform their working or basically health and safety at work. So whether I can support that particular space. And I'm speaking to three industry experts. I have Stephen Nase Budi, who is a marketing, communications, and technology consultant, and also Eric Apia, director of Apia Information Technology Systems, and Juan Jimenez, AI and automation solutions architect. And these are the people helping me understand these things. Let's take a quick break. When we return, we continue the conversation further and then try to wrap up.
This is Business Breakfast on Zed 101.9 FM. This is Business Breakfast on Z101.9 FM. This is Business Breakfast on Z101.9 FM.
I might be rough around the edges, maybe yes. I keep it nappy and I do what make me happy, and nobody can deny me that I'm blessed. I might be rough around the edges, maybe yes. I keep it nappy and I do what make me happy, and nobody can deny me that I'm blessed. Self-preservation, self-elevation. These they deserve celebration. No hesitation, no reservation. Go for the big leagues, no relegation. Let's celebrate life, kick back and take 5, and give thanks to the source that create life. To see a sunset or see a sunrise, and see my son born with these same eyes. To see my son smile bright in every gray sky. He's growing so fast, that's why every day I give it 100, now stop at 90. Praise the Almighty, the Father and 90.
I'm feeling blessed, oh. Say tonight, me and my guys, we go down, baby. Say tonight, man, no go stress, oh. Say tonight, me and my guys, we go down, baby. Surely, make I tell you, say my life is like a movie. And if I tell you all these things, I don't see truly. Say my eyes don't see. Before my life come be, say many try to fool me, but I dey pray for my enemies and truly, and I dey pray for my kids, that's my blessing. Pray for the
This is Business Breakfast on Z101.9 FM.
All right, thank you very much for sticking and staying with us. We're back into the conversation. And if you just tuned in, this is Business Breakfast on Z101.9 FM with me, Nietzsche Bihamon. This morning, the big question is, can AI support health and safety at work? And I'm having the conversation with 3 industry experts. I have in studio Stephen Nasebwidi, who is a marketing, communication, and technology consultant. Also, Eric Apia, director at Apia Information Technology Systems, and Juan Jimenez. He's an AI and automation solutions architect. And these are the people helping me have this conversation. It's been a great conversation so far. We've established a lot of points. We've said that AI is transforming several industries, and in line with health and safety, AI is making a lot of waves. People are using AI for all kinds of things. But the unfortunate thing is that we are quite behind here in Ghana, in as much as there's a lot, there's more we can do. Yeah, and so we'll continue the conversation briefly. Just before we went off, we're talking about some ethics and privacy concerns. And the question I asked Nase was, what happens if an AI system makes a mistake that leads to an accident? Should the company be held accountable? So I'm going to bring in Eric to share his thoughts, and also Juan, and then we continue the conversation and try to. We have very limited time, but we'll do what we can do, and then we end the conversation here. So let me bring Eric.
Yes.
Sorry, we lost you very early. Within the conversation. But tell me, what do you think? Nanase agrees that the company should be held accountable because they are deploying the AIs. But what do you also think, Eric?
All right. So we are speaking on ethical and privacy concerns.
Yeah.
So with the ethical, the AI is fresh, and so we are now reviewing. Companies are now reviewing ethical use, privacy, data, and so on and so forth. I would say that if a company or an organization is embarking on an AI project to, enhance the safety and improve the well-being at the workplace, then first of all, transparent communication is the key, in the sense that you have to be transparent with everything you are doing, the data you are collecting, how it is used, and then the consent of your employees is very, very important. The employees must be I don't know, is it explain? You have to explain all the concepts that you are doing, the data you are taking, and the purpose for which the data is being used,
Right.
so that it helps them to give their consent, and then two, be part of the process. Okay.
Right. I think the same points Nana say mentioned earlier. One, do you have anything to add to that?
Yes, thank you. I will say that, and sorry if I feel like I'm repeating again and again, but again, is the system, the AI systems are there to help you and support you with the information and the speed of the information and the accuracy of the information. But the AI system is not there to make a decision. So in the end, it's the people that made the decisions.
Right.
So it will be the same case as today. If a supervisor make a mistake and make a wrong decision, well, I don't know if the organization or the supervisor it needs to be held accountable. But it ultimately that is the end of it. Like it's the people that has to make the decision, not the system, not the AI.
Okay. I see. But do you think workers should have a say in how AI is used to monitor their safety at work?
Sorry, can you repeat the question again?
I'm asking that should workers have a say in how AI is used to monitor their safety at work?
Well, I agree with Eric. It needs to be transparent. Like if they're going to wearable to monitor their vitals and their health and everything, it's their privacy. So yes, definitely, they need to be consulted. At least they need to agree with that kind of use of information and technology. 100% agree.
Right. Is the next big step for AI in improving workplace safety? What is the next big step?
I foresee a situation where, with conversations like this going on, and with even the theme for this year's celebration, a lot more companies are going to embrace AI and integrate a lot more. So it's going to be a lot more data that's provided. A lot more tools are going to be provided. And countries like ours that are slow, that are a bit behind, will begin to see the positives and embrace these. And in the future, human beings will be understood a lot more. And the linkage between the workplace setup, for example, and their health will be improved with the use of data that's generated from AI. So that people will enjoy work a lot more. I mean, work should not be stressful. You shouldn't go home regretting, and not look forward to the next day. That's what I'm hoping. And that human beings also, with a lot more conversations like this, employees would embrace it a lot more, so that we don't push back when management begins to roll out some of these tools.
Right, very important. One, do you have anything to add to that?
Not really. I agree. Like the trends is very hard to predict. I mean, we try to not to get confused with whatever we see in the movies and whatever is happening right now. Is so hard. It's so hard, and the information that is going there is too much. It's too much that we barely can keep up, and the misinformation going from one place to another is also too much. So it's kind of very hard to walk this path. And at the same time, the organizations wants to keep efficient and keep growing and keep being making jobs and money, right? So how? That's the real question. Like, if they, I believe that it's hard to predict. So sorry if I'm making out of my words, but
that's okay.
It's trying to establish that we need to keep learning. We need to keep evolving, but we somehow need to take a breath as well. Let's take a second to think what we're doing, because it's going so fast that I don't know. We're skipping a step in the middle, and then the future will be a not good thing to have.
I see. Right. Okay, Eric. Anything to add to that?
All right. So I would say that the organizations should ensure AI models are trained on diverse data to avoid biases. And then also, one other point is also accuracy, yes. And then the accuracy is very, very important. Then one thing we are also skipping is the fact that, I mentioned earlier on that these cameras, sensors, and all of those things will be at the workplace. And so the workers will be monitored all the time. And so we also have to look at the worker anxiety. Very, very, very important that we look at the worker anxiety, and also because when workers are monitored, they behave differently. They can even be increase in stress level. Like a typical example is what happened in Amazon. So Amazon, it uses AI-powered staff to monitor the warehouses, and this resulted in stress, anxiety, and other issues. And so we must also look at that aspect and work with the worker. And so it all boils down to communication, conversation, transparency, so that the worker is at ease. And so I also like to buttress the point that we need to have more of these conversations so that the people are aware, and so that when management is introducing any AI thing like that, there will not be a pushback.
Okay.
All right.
I think same point Nana say also tried to make it right there. All right, we have just about 4 minutes to go. I say, I know that we've been having conversations about Ghana not lagging behind and all of that. What are your words along those lines? And I want you to talk about in terms of health and safety, and then maybe a general call to any entity, government, whoever is supposed to, anything you have to say in line with that.
I would say that from my experience, there are a lot of very, very intelligent developers in this town, AI experts in this town. Governments and decision makers need to embrace them, welcome, give them the opportunity to help in developing these. It's the gap between the decision makers and the experts that's creating this lack of integration and that degree. But we need to quickly overcome that. So we need to have more roundtable conversations. Number two, also see it as an investment. See anything we're doing in technology as an investment that will bring us the profits, will reap rewards in the future. So it's not something that, because it can be expensive sometimes, but at the end of the day, it's cost saving. It's far cheaper. It's lack of understanding that makes us kind of like push back or postpone investing in some of these tools. Let's have the right conversations. People at the right places, whether it's in ministries, in boardrooms and other places, need to listen to some of these conversations. Invite a lot of the young people. I'm even too old. There are a lot of young people who are experts out there. Bring them on board. They are not looking for your jobs. Let me put that. They are not looking for your jobs. They just want opportunity to contribute to what we're doing. And that's the way I would want them to view it. And then we'll make a headway. Because, we often say technology is a leveler. If we embrace the right technology, we'll skip a number of hurdles and be able to be at par with those that we're trying to get to.
I see. So on health and World Day of Health and Safety, what are your final words?
Let's embrace more technology in understanding health and in safety at the workplace.
Great. Okay, thank you very much. Eric, let me come to you, and then I wrap up with one.
Eric, so tell us, he has spoken to governments and decision makers. Maybe there's an investor listening to us, there's a business person listening to us, an entrepreneur, a CEO. Speak to them for me, Eric.
All right. So what I've noticed is that in Ghana, the business people, I don't know, they see tech as abstract. Okay. So if you walk to a business with a business or an investor or a CEO with a proposal in tech, it's an abstract thing for them. They want to see brick and mortar, or you are going to buy this number of cement, or a car business. They want to see the car. And so I think this has resulted in the low investment into tech in our part of the world. And so I would want to urge them that tech is the future. The future is tech. And so they have the small opportunity to jump on now with their investments, with their investment, their time and everything. And most importantly, invest into the businesses that are in AI now. So that in the future, when a lot of things have been transformed and everything is AI based and a few human support, then they can also still be in business in that in the future. And so I would urge them that they should one, invest in tech and then AI related stuff, and then also support the community. Thank you.
Right. Thank you very much, Eric. And let me wrap up with you one, maybe your final words, and then we can go.
Well, first of all, I would like to congratulate you and the show for having me here. But I will also mention that don't sell yourself. But I don't think, I think the world itself is a little bit behind. It's not, it's marketing. It's AI word is too much. It's a hype. It's everybody's talking about it, but everybody's kind of in the same place. Like we're trying to learn and we're trying to teach each other, and to find a way to evolve and use it in the right place in the right way. So don't sell yourself short. You are not behind. We are all behind, if we need to say it somehow like that. I mean, we are in Canada. I'm in Canada, and I'm telling you, we have the same. I feel like we have the same problem as you, like with data privacy, with training, with the commitment, with investment. We have laws. All countries have their own laws, and data privacy is among one of them. So we need to find. We are evolving. We are learning. It will take us a little bit more time. Not next week. It will take us a little bit of years. So don't just the final message is simply that don't be afraid. Keep training yourself. Keep working with it, and let's make a bright future for all of us together.
Right. Juan, thank you very much too for sharing your thoughts with us, and thank you for making time. I know it's very early at where you are, but you made time to speak to us. Really, really grateful. Really grateful.
I appreciate it. It was an honor and a privilege.
So we'll talk a bit more after this. Right. And also, Nana, say thank you very much for coming in studio. We're grateful that you came all the way to this place to have this conversation. And also thank you to you, Eric. Grateful that you also joined us this morning. Now, we've heard some exciting ideas about how AI is improving safety in the workplace, but we've also learned that there are still challenges to consider, particularly around privacy, ethics, and also reliability. And as we move forward, it is clear that AI will play a critical role in making workplaces safer and healthier. However, we also need to ensure that we are prepared for the ethical and practical challenges that come with integrating these technologies. So So thank you again to our wonderful panelists for your time, and thank you to you for listening to us and joining us in this important conversation. Let's continue to work together to revolutionize workplace safety and health with AI, keeping workers' well-being at the forefront of our efforts. That's all time will allow us this morning here on the Business Breakfast on Zed. We'll continue to have further conversations, but we're back again tomorrow at exactly 6:15 a.m. For very interesting conversations in other relevant matters. But until we meet again, please make sure that you stay safe. Keep listening to Z101.9 FM. Up next is The Brighter Side with NYA, the brand. My name is Nitra B. Hammond, and when you think Ghana, think Z. See you tomorrow.